number 3, Devontae Jackson, 75 yards. First play from scrimmage. It's a Texan touchdown.
Line, and it's headed across the 40 and then some. We may be having some electricity to start this ball game, football fans. Down the sidelines, number 10, that's Keon House. Kickoff return for a Colt touchdown. LeBlanc out of the stretch. Sky towards left center field. The wind is carrying it. Is it gone? It is! Jackson irons with a 2-run shot over the left center field fence. He'll plate Wharton, and it's 6-4. Patomeco with the pass. Narario has a bit of a look. Shot on goal, and he gets it in! Like Burkle out of position. They've got a pass, and they've got a goal! 9-minute mark. And that will be a Diablos goal! 2 tight end set here as we go to the left-hand side with B.J. Rogers. Rogers is into the second level! B.J. Rogers to midfield! One man trying to catch up to him, but he will not! Number 6, in for 6! That will do it! 5:22 to go in the game. JoJo Murray in motion. They're going to do a jet sweep to him on the near side of the field. JoJo Murray across midfield. One man to beat. JoJo Murray's inside the 10. That's a touchdown! That's a touchdown! JoJo Murray on the 60-yard end around!
This broadcast is under intellectual property and may not be repurposed or reproduced without express written consent. Enjoy this presentation from Zach Arnold Productions, Energetic Media Solutions.
Welcome into Wilemon Field in beautiful Arlington, Texas. Hi, this is Tim Costello, joined with Zach Arnold. We are live on YouTube, and this is the AISD Game of the Week on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing.
Man, this is a long time coming. It is one of the oldest rivalries in the city of Arlington. Bowie, when they opened in the early 90s, actually took some of the students from Sam Houston with them, so there is a lot of no love lost between these two teams. They're 8 minutes away from each other down New York Avenue, so it has lovingly become called the Battle of New York here in the Southeast Arlington area, and we're excited to be bringing you this ball game. It is one that has been heavily favored in the direction of the Bowie Volunteers, but Sam Houston got a win for the first time in over 1,000 days to start the season, and they've been competitive in every game since, and they're led by a couple of offensive stalwarts that are going to try to go toe-to-toe with Bowie's offense here tonight.
Yeah, it should be a great one this evening, and we just want to take a moment to welcome everybody that's joining the broadcast into the Chapman Cornelius pregame show. Fans, the pregame show this year is presented by Chapman Cornelius Insurance Services, a family-owned business with a team of professionals who have served the Arlington area for over 50 years. Don't let insurance be a headache. Chapman Cornelius can help you create a custom insurance plan tailored for your small business's needs and budget. Call April or Jason today at 817-265-3346 or go to www.chapman-cornelius.com.
Chapman Cornelius has been a partner of Zapp's for a long time. We're excited to have them back as our pregame show partner. The Bowie Volunteers and the Sam Houston Texans share Wilemon Field as their home stadium and alternate who serves as the home team. This year, that honor goes to the Texans. They have just taken the field and will be clad in a red helmets with cursive Texans in blue on the helmet, and then red jerseys and red pants. Bowie is getting ready to set up shop over on this east end zone. They'll be in their white helmets, white jerseys with orange numbers, and black pants. Tim, we were taking a look at some of the Max Preps series for this game. It definitely goes in the favor of the Bowie Volunteers. They're fresh off of a win last week. They're fresh off of a winning season from last year, and they're hungry to continue that dominance in this rivalry.
Yeah, you mentioned they alternate who the home team is every year. Well, it has not seemed to matter lately, especially for Bowie, whether they're home or road in this matchup. All time 25-14-1, but going all the way back to 2018, they have not dropped a game during that time period, and most of these have gotten ugly. 34-8 in 2018, 44-13 in 19, 27-14 in 2020, a barn burner in 21, 48-43. 2022 was 59-7, and then last year they're coming off a 56-6 victory. But again, you mentioned this is a completely different Sam Houston ball club. They're in that battle red out uniform here tonight. I don't know if you're going to get the same effect as when the Houston Texans go battle red, but when you go all red, it's a different mentality, right? Because you're coming
is.
in the red uniform. We want to show hard. We want to show out. We've got our battle red unis on tonight. So I think we're going to see a real special effort here from Sam Houston this evening, and I think we're going to be in for a fantastic game.
There has been no shortage of effort from these Texans. Their 1-3 record does not indicate the heart that this team has, in my opinion. They did lose 42-21 at South Grand Prairie last week, but they were tied 21 apiece and then just ran out of steam in the fourth quarter. If this team is able to play a complete 4 quarters the way we saw Bowie do last week against the Grand Prairie Gophers in their win, then I do think we are in for that aforementioned barn burner.
What's going to be interesting to me as well, Zach, is when I've seen Bowie play, the talent is there.
Yes.
They've got an unbelievable, plethora of skill position guys or guys that you can get the ball into their hands and let them make plays. But there's been this, however, penalties,
Yes.
poor mistakes,
Yes.
bad decision making,
Yes.
right? And that's what's cost them. The opening game of the season against Flower Mound, they had a chance to go up 2 touchdowns and put that game away. Next thing you know, we're in double overtime where you should have never been, and you lose a football game. They come back and lose another one the next week with double-digit penalties, And the nice thing about this, though, is they're 1-0 in district, right?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
It is.
The out of district games may have been the slap in the face that this team needs to say, you know what? If we want to go out and we want to compete at the level that we think we are this year, right? Because I guarantee you, coming into the season, the gentlemen in that locker room, the young men, they think they have a chance to go out and win a championship this year. They've got, Tally is a fantastic skill player on the outside, right? You've got Osunde Brown Kiedrick, who's, again, another guy who can create separation, who can do some fantastic things for you. Zion Shelley, Darion Bowers, guys who can pound the rock, and even Larry Nichols, a guy who can run it, who can throw it, who reads the defense well, but they just need to put it all together and stop shooting themselves in the foot.
I think if we can see minimized turnovers and penalties and we can see some efficiency for all 4 quarters from Sam Houston, then we are definitely in for a game of the week, which is what Zap is describing it as. Head coach Joseph Sam has definitely been on his players about being able to play all 4 quarters to minimize penalties. He mentioned that during one of our preseason conversations. And then on the other side of the field, when you look at Sam Houston, they've got a quarterback in the form of number 7, Ken Jones, who does not make mistakes. He doesn't have flashy numbers, 4 touchdowns to 2 picks, according to some compiled stats we found on Dallas Morning News and Max Preps. But he moves the offense. He knows how to distribute to players like Jalen Harper and Carlos Santillan. Harper is actually number 17 in all of 6A in the area with his 391 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry. To have a top 20 rusher on your offense is a really big thing for this Sam Houston ball club, who had not been able to find much productivity offensively the last couple of years. The offensive line is going to have to open holes for Harper and protect Jones if Sam Houston is going to be able to compete for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I think, too, one of the things that you're going to need to see from Ken Jones is come out early, get some early easy completions, and get into a rhythm. Last week completing less than 50% of his passes, only 38% completion last week. No touchdowns with an interception. So if you can get him some easy, early, rhythm, momentum building throws, those are the kind of things that a quarterback can take into the second half of the game, knowing, hey, I got this. I'm feeling it today. Let's go out and let's win a football game.
National Anthem has concluded, and that will conclude the pregame show presented by Chapman Cornelius. We're going to turn it over to Zap View now for your viewing pleasure, an interactive studio to be able to keep up with the game without the use of video cameras due to certain restrictions. Looks like The Bowie Volunteers will be receiving to start this ball game, moving from left to right on your Zap View dial. Hit that share button. It is football time in Texas as the sun sets behind Wilemon Field, and our view just got a little bit clearer, Tim.
Oh man, what a view we now have, Zach. This is why we live in Texas, right? We deal with some warm summer months so we can enjoy Friday night lights like this. A beautiful it feels fantastic outside, 80 degrees here at kickoff at 7:01. Again, as you mentioned, we are just ready to get started for what should be a fantastic game. Bowie set to return. The Texans in their all red uniforms kick it. Oh, wow. That one, maybe a miss kick, went directly into the forward Bowie Volunteer there. Number 44 takes the shot. It is Galatian Pagafofi, the linebacker, and just kind of falls on it, Zach. That's the first time I've seen that.
I think that was meant to be a squib, and the squib just did not go where it was supposed to. It got hit by the very first man on the line there for Bowie, and they're going to get it at their own 43-yard line to start this ball game.
They come out in the shotgun formation, one receiver on the far side, two here on the near side. Nichols rolling to his right, looking to throw, has a man, it's Tally. He makes the catch just short of midfield at about the 49-yard line. Good gain on first down.
And that's that simple completions you were talking about for the quarterback, Ken Jones, but that standard applies for Nichols as well. You get a little bit of momentum and see what can happen.
Now they go trips on the far side of the field. Tally isolated one-on-one on the near side. Looking to throw his Nichols. No, it's a quarterback draw. Nowhere to go. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Leading the way that time, Elijah Bailey, the senior defensive lineman.
Bailey with good pursuit there. He beat his man at the line of scrimmage and did not fall for any of the movement that was going on there. And they drop Nichols for a loss. It'll bring up third down and about 7 for the Vols.
Now Twins on the far side of the field. In the backfield with Nichols is Darion Bowers. Looking to throw. Shotgun snap. Throw is short, but complete across the 50. Down to the 45. Breaking tackles. 35-30. 25-20. And shoved out of bounds at the 20-yard line is Zion Shelley.
That was just a drag route going with the check down underneath, and then Shelley got the yards after the catch to be able to move the sticks and then some. First down just inside the red zone. They're going to mark it at the 16, Tim.
They go quickly. Handoff. No, fake it. It's an option. Keeping it is Nichols on inside the 10 down at the 6-yard line. All the attention in the world was paid to Bowers. They fooled the defense and the broadcaster that time, picking up a good chunk of yards on first down.
That'll be a first down and goal as he gets exactly enough to move the sticks, and now they set them down as they are 6 yards away from pay dirt.
Trips here on the near side of the field. Tally isolated one-on-one on the top of the field. A handoff up the middle to Bowers. He's got plenty of room. Shakes off a tackle, and he is in for 6 and a Volunteer lead here early. Not really much resistance on that run, Zach. A late, attempt at a tackle there, but Bowers, a strong runner, able to shrug him off and punch the early touchdown in. This is what we saw in the first game of the season from Bowie, was go right down the field and put an early score on the board. So good signs early offensively if you're a Bowie listener. If you're a Texan, hoping this defense steps up as the game goes on. Looking like a dead ball penalty on the offense, either a illegal formation or a false start. Cannot hear the difference.
The judge underneath the upright signaled like a false start against somebody on the line. And Tim, this is part of those mistakes that we were talking about in the pregame show. It's not going to affect them too much. They have just to go 5 yards further for the extra point attempt, but you can't be committing senseless penalties in a rivalry game.
Absolutely. And again, it may only be 5 yards, but you know what? This is high school football. How many teams have a fantastic kicker? This one up, and it is good. A 7-0 lead here early for the Bowie Volunteers. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the AISD Game of the Week on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing.
John Wade Roofing is celebrating 40 years serving the Arlington area. John Sr. played for Colt football and was the team MVP in '76. He went on to play for TCU, earning all conference honors. The family has a Colt legacy that spans generations and wants to help your family's roofing needs, plus gutters, painting, solar, and more. For more information, go to johnwaderoofing.com. Are you a small business owner looking for reliable insurance coverage? Or perhaps you're navigating the complexities of Medicare? Look no further. Chapman Cornelius Insurance Services is a family-owned independent insurance agency with over 50 years of experience, specializing in tailored insurance solutions for small businesses and their owners. Whether you need property, liability, commercial, auto, or even life and health insurance, their knowledgeable agents can help you feel secure in selecting the insurance you need. Call April or Jason at 817-265-3346 or visit chapman-cornelius.com.
Welcome back out to Wilemon Field, and welcome back onto the ZAP Network. The early lead for the Bowie Volunteers over the Sam Houston Texans, 7-0. The kickoff is an end-over-end kick, fairly short fielded at the 24-yard line. Working his way across the 30 that time is number 24, Braylon Ferris. Actually, check that. No, it was number 1, Montavious Jones. I don't know how I mixed that one up.
A couple of players converged around the ball and looked like one had it and then another one took off with it. But it'll be first down at the 33 for Sam Houston to start their first drive of the game.
Sam Houston huddling on the sideline first before jogging out. This will be the first look we get at Ken Jones here today. Ken, a senior, looking to lead this offense for their first district win this season. First play, a handoff from shotgun up the middle, that time to Jalen Harper. Pickup of about 2 or 3 yards on first down. It does look here early, maybe some size could be an issue for some of these skill players for Sam Houston. Harper's going to have to use some of that speed and wiggle to get away from these bigger defenders. Second down and 8, quick throw. Ooh, not on the same page with Latarius Wilborn as tight end, as Ken Jones was looking for one of those quick, easy completions, and Wilborn didn't have his head whipped around yet.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a curl route, but Wilborn hadn't curled yet. So it'll bring up third down and 8 now for the Texans.
Harper stays in the game at running back. Jaden Phillips on the near side of the field, isolated, trips on the far side. They bring a man in motion. It's Wilborn. He's now in the natural tight end position. Handoff up the middle and leveled short of the 40 at the 37-yard line is the running back, Jalen Harper. That's going to bring up a fourth down and 5.
I like the thought. Harper has been your playmaker. He consistently gets about 5 yards per carry, but unfortunately not able to get the 8 necessary to move the sticks, and very quickly the Texans are going to go 3 and out.
Clock just above 9 minutes ticking down here in the first quarter. The defensive back, Neftali Gikonge, is actually the punter as well for this team, so he's deep to send it away. We're going to have a penalty before this one even gets started.
Looks like a delay of game, Tim.
Now, what you're looking for, didn't pick up a ton of yards offensively, and now you're going to give a little bit more away in this field position battle. Takes a little bit of pressure off of Nichols as well, as he can kind of let his team of running backs go to work a little bit between Shelley and Bowers. Shelley plays all over the field, plays a little tight end, plays a little running back. Just really a fantastic athlete that these volunteer offense looks to get involved any way they can. Here's the kick, a pretty good end-over-end kick. It's going to bounce short of the 30, check up and be downed at the 35-yard line. Good starting field position coming for the Volunteers. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back.
Taqueria Taco Express is your one-stop shop for all things authentic Mexican in Arlington and Grand Prairie. And this fall, you'll now have 4 stops to choose from. Visit the new location off 20 and Little Road or any of their 3 original locations and try their $10 Taco Tuesday. It includes 5 tacos and an agua fresca. They also feature new birria items plus tortas, gorditas, and more. Find out just how much more by visiting taqueriatacoexpress.com.
First down and 10 for the Volunteers. The play is a toss to Bowers after the quick 3-and-out. Bowers picks up 2 or 3 yards coming to the near sideline on the first down toss.
Bowers is the guy you want to feed, Tim. He averages 7.7 yards per carry. He's got 477 rush yards. We talked about Harper being in the top 20 in rushers in 6A. Bowers is in the top 10 right now, according to Dallas Morning News, at number 7.
Second down and 8. Pistol formation this time. The give is to Bowers. He's got room to work. Gets near the 40 before being twisted down. Kind of an awkward landing position for him as his legs are bent underneath him.
Yeah, number 11, the senior linebacker, Noel Lopez, read that play well. He was the first one to make contact with Bowers and did not let go. That's a good wrap-up to bring up third down and about 6.
This is Dylan Talley time, if you ask me. The best receiver on your team, let him go make a play. He's got a good 6-8 inches on anybody that's lined up on him. Twin formations on each side of the field. Bowers joins Nichols in the backfield. Little screen play. They flick it out to Bowers. He gets across the 45. That should be good for a first down, Zach.
They needed exactly the 45. He landed on that line, and that will be the 6 yards necessary to move the chain. 7:20 to go in this opening period.
Bowie on the move offensively at their own 45-yard line. Receivers are stacked on the near side. They bring Shelley and tight in motion. The handoff goes up the middle to Bowers. He shakes off the first tackle, but is not able to get away the swarm of Texan defenders about a yard later. He will pick up some positive yardage, give him 1.5 yards on the play.
First man to meet him for the Texans was number 30, Jaden Skurlock. Skurlock popped him and then pushed him into the rest of the Texan defense for a minimal gain, 2nd and 8.
Seen a lot of the run on this drive, a little less of Nichols. Speaking of the devil, he rolls left, looks to throw on the move, just high and out of the reach of his receiver, Osunde Brown Kierdrick. Just a bit high, and he was rolling to his left, Zach, and just takes that little bit extra bit of momentum to carry that ball high versus if maybe rolling to your right side, your throwing side, that one's going to be a little bit more accurate.
Yeah, when you go to your offhand and throw against your body, your accuracy reduces, and that's what happened to Nichols right there.
Third down and 8 for Nichols. He takes the shotgun snap, pump fakes, looks to throw, rolls right side, avoids one rush, gets it back over the middle, and Brown drops it. Osunde Brown had it in his hand and just could not hold on. That would have been good for a first down.
That would have, and it was good improvisation there by Nichols. And we had number 30 again in his face, Skurlock, trying to keep him from scrambling, and then he sets his feet and makes the throw, but it was a little bit behind number 4 for the Volunteers, and now they'll be the ones that have to punt it away.
That's a great job by this Texans defense. You kind of got manhandled a little bit on that first drive, but you don't let it discourage you from your game plan. You found a way to put some relentless pressure on the quarterback. Next thing you know, you're forcing a punt. High snap handled well, but the punt is not a good one. Literally straight up in the air and takes a Sam Houston bounce. That one's going to net maybe 7-8 yards as it's at the 46-yard line. So a huge break for the Sam Houston Texans. You are listening to the AISD Game of the Week on the Zap Network, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
Pecan Park Dental isn't your typical dental office. Nestled under the shade of 60-year-old pecan trees, Dr. Stephanie Bangs and her team provide advanced dental care in a warm, inviting setting that feels like home. Whether you're looking for the latest cosmetic dentistry or a cozy place where you and your kids feel at ease, Pecan Park Dental is your go-to in Arlington.
After the punt, the first play for the Sam Houston Texans is a handoff up the middle to Harper, and he is crushed after losing even half of a yard on the play. It'll be second down and 11 from the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Harper, you mentioned he's not the heaviest running back. He's flight of feet, but he was shifting his feet side to side too much and couldn't find the crease that he was looking for.
He looks to bring a little bit of pressure. Quick throw, they go to the flat, and this one is dropped. Not the best throw that time from Jones to his receiver, Devin Dawkins. Ken Jones a little bit behind him. And Zach, this is not a bad play call. I like the idea of the screen there, especially the wide receiver screen, but Jones has got to make a stronger throw. No one near him.
That pressure got in his face and it affected his accuracy, I feel like.
Play action pass. Jones throws. Has a man deep. This one dropped.
Oh,
Looking for Carlos Santillan down the sideline. He beat his man. Jones made a good throw, but just misread it a little bit, maybe a little bit high, but you got to help your quarterback out.
I think it might have been a little underthrown as well. Santillan didn't catch that in stride. He had to slow down and make an adjustment to the ball. I think if he throws it a little bit further, Santillan's got a big gain there.
Maybe put a little more air under it, let him run underneath it more. Here's another punt for the Texans offense. It's a good one. Fielded at the 20-yard line, working towards the near sideline and losing big time yardage is Zach Duncantel. Good job by the Texans coverage team. Duncantel gave up about 7-8 yards of field position after retreating, pardon me. So a quick 3-and-out forced by this Bowie Volunteers offense. We're going to stay here, as that one did not take much time at all. Not a lot of time coming off the clock. A lot of possessions here in this first quarter, Zach.
But not a lot of scoring. That opening touchdown drive by Bowie, and since then, 3 consecutive punts for these two teams. 7-0 with 5:16 to go until the second quarter.
Quick throw for Nichols. Caught at the 20, makes a man miss the 25-30, 35-40, and being wrestled out of bounds just short of the 45-yard line is the receiver Antonio Berdow, the sophomore making a play.
Looks like he might have been pushed out of bounds just before getting up to that 45. The umpire's putting it at the 39, but it does move the sticks and hopefully gives Bowie a little bit of momentum. They haven't had many first downs since that opening touchdown.
Not a great spot, but they'll take the first down. They play action over the middle to Talley. He makes a fantastic catch at the 50 before gaining another 6 yards down to the 44. And for the second time today, the Vols are in Texans territory.
You mentioned him having a height advantage. The defensive back, David Moreno, was there and made contact as he was trying to catch it.
But no, here we go again. Another Vols penalty.
Oh, goodness.
Have an eligible man downfield. One of the linemen, after the play action pass, sold it a little bit too hard, blocked a little bit too far, and that's going to take a big play off the board.
We were so focused on what Shelley was doing that we didn't even see the flag at the line of scrimmage.
So now a first down and 15. They fake the handoff again, go back to Talley, makes the catch at the 40, across midfield, 45-40, 35-30. He's got the Jets on 10, 5, touchdown, Vols. They went right back to him. Zach said, you could stop it that time, stop it this time. And he put on the afterburners for 6.
That's just athleticism. It's maybe a 3 or 4 yard completion underneath on a comeback route, and then the yards after the catch again affecting this Sam Houston secondary. Talley took it 65 yards for the score.
Talley might be the best yak guy in all of AISD, if you ask me, Zach. He is electric with the football in his hand. Extra point attempt is up, and it is good, but a little bit more laundry on the field as this one is going to be on the Texans, though. Offsides on the defense. I have to assume that'll be declined.
Take the points and move on.
We're going to take the break with them. A 14-0 lead here in the first quarter for the Bowie Volunteers. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on the Zap Network, brought to you by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back.
John Wade Roofing has been serving the Arlington area since 1982, but the Wade legacy runs much deeper in the city of Arlington. A pioneer family that has had roots going back decades, John Wade and Company saw relatives attend the Cooper Street Arlington High campus and has had members play in Colt athletics for decades, and they're looking forward to serving this community for decades to come. Find out more at johnwaderoofing.com.
Welcome back to Wilemon Stadium here in beautiful Arlington, Texas for the AISD Game of the Week presented by John Wade Roofing on the Zap Network. A 14-0 Bowie Volunteer lead early at 4:38 left in the first quarter over the Sam Houston Texans. Sam Houston looking to get a little spark going on offense. They have yet to pick up a first down offensively, Zach.
But I think all it takes is that one spark, and they came close with that near completion to Santillan, but close is not going to count very well in a rivalry game. Have to move the sticks.
Kickoff is a little squib one, might even be an onside attempt fielded, and going down quickly is the tight end, Latarius Wilborn. Interesting kicking decisions here early for both teams.
You know, more and more we see that the traditional kickoff doesn't happen as much at the high school level.
Yeah.
You just don't quite have the leg for it often. And
absolutely.
so you decide to try some high kicks or some positional kicks and run the risk of giving up a few more yards in field position if it means that you have a chance at getting the free ball.
First down and 10 for the Texans. Two receivers on the near side of the field, one isolated at the top. The handoff up the middle. A little bit of running room across the 50. Makes a man miss. 45-40 and wrestled down in Bowie territory. Number 20, Jalen Harper with a nice run.
Harper finally found the crease he's been looking for the last couple of possessions, and he made the second line of defense pay. They may be bigger, but in that play, he was faster.
It's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight, the dog, Zach. First down and 10. First play of the game for the Texans in Vols territory. They go right back to Harper, and this time nowhere to go. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of one on the play. I think with someone like Harper, you got to get him outside the tackles. They're running him way too much right up the gut, where someone as shifty and as explosive as he is, get him out near the edge.
Well, and maybe get him a swing pass or get him in motion from the slot position. Try to give him some space rather than run it up the middle every time.
Second down and 11, shotgun snap. Jones looks to throw over the middle, has his man across the 25-20, makes a move at the 10, he's at the 5, he's in for 6. Carlos Santillan makes a move and puts the Texans on the board.
The Texans finally get the yards after the catch, Tim, much like what we saw on the previous possession for Dylan Talley. Number 5, Santillan says, hey, I can do that too.
Found an open spot in that defense, settled in nicely, made the catch, and then as you do in this game, you found room up the field, made a couple moves, and hey, that's that spark this Texans offense needed. That first run for Harper got this thing going. Low snap, the extra point attempt is up, and it is good. A 14-7 lead now for the Volunteers after the Texans chip away. This is the AISD Game of the Week on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
Hi everybody, Paul Lovato from Jambo's Barbecue at the historic Arlington Steakhouse here on Division Street.
If your teenagers make your fridge look like you've never buy groceries, then stop by for a Jambo Texan sandwich or our Sadie loaded potato. The king and queen of barbecue meals will fill your kids up and keep them full long after the game is over.
Peace, love, barbecue, and football.
Back at Wilemon Field after the Texans touchdown cuts into the Volunteer lead. It's 14-7. Bowie has a couple men deep looking to receive the kickoff. I got to wonder if the forward blockers here give maybe a little bit more of a lane after Galatian Pyagofi got just lit up with a kickoff attempt to start the game. Or hey, do you try and block it and take the field position and just say, hey, come kick it at me?
I think he's got a little bit of a lane this time, Tim. The man up the middle is more to the hash on this kickoff attempt.
Maxwell Sane has it on the tee. I think this one's going to be kicked deep a little bit more based on the way that the coverage team is splitting out wide. Nope, another squibber across the 20, picked up at the, no, bobbled, now picked up at the 22, across the 30, making a move at the 35 and stepping out of bounds is Zach Duncatel again. Had some nice moves in the return game.
And that's the gamble is if it bounces off of Duncatel the wrong way and you get down quickly enough, maybe you have a chance at a turnover. But if you don't, then you're giving up about 9 or 10 yards of field position compared to a traditional touchback. This one's going to be spotted at the 34. I think in most cases, a high school coach is willing to trade 9 yards for a shot at a loose ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 120 D1 kickers in the country. There's way more high schools than 120.
Absolutely.
It's a tough position to fill at the high school level. First down and 10, the handoff is to Bowers. He's got room to operate across the 45-50. Here we go again, 35-30, and stepping out of bounds at the 25. Bowers with a big gash that time on the first down carry.
He just flips the field, and that's the explosive playmaker that he is. Bowers finds the lane and then cuts to the near side, and the next thing you know, he's picked up 30 or 40 in one run.
You want to know how you average 7.7 yards a carry? Big carries like that. Here's a play action pass, quick throw outside to Osunde Brown. Picks up about 6 yards on the screen play. Good gain on first down. And again, after you get a big run like that, why not go to the play action? Timeout in the field, injury on the field. We'll take it with them. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on the Zap Network. We'll be right back after this.
Pools in Texas need servicing all year long. At Rami Pools, LLC, we provide quality pool services such as cleaning, maintenance, and repairs. So call 469-951-0107 for a free estimate and ask for Roberto. Rami Pools, LLC. We're going to make you fall in love with your pool again. Hablamos español.
This broadcast is the intellectual property of Zach Arnold Productions. Any use of their multimedia, including audio, video, images, and other content, may not be repurposed without prior express consent of Zach Arnold Productions. We thank you for your cooperation and for tuning in to tonight's broadcast.
The injured player, Devin Glasper, making his way off the field under his own power. So that's always a good sign, Zach. Looks like maybe some cramping or something in the right calf muscle. So after the big play and then a 7-yard gain on first down, it'll be second 3. Ball's at the 22-yard line. Handoff, no. Play action. They throw to Osunde Brown. He picks up another first down for the Vols. Ball is at the 16-yard line. Volunteers look like they want to go fast, but they're waiting on the chain gang and the referees. Actually, no, a penalty that time is going to be on the Texans. The Vols will not take the penalty, instead take their first down gain and accept the new fresh set of downs, Zach. So a first down and 10. Ball is at the 16-yard line. Right. Fake the handoff, throw outside to Talley, just wide of target. Nichols threw it before Talley was out of his break and just could not make the connection with his big-time senior wide receiver. It's the guy, Zach, that's being recruited by Deion Sanders to go play in Colorado.
That is a high honor. With the type of attention that he gets, that's a lot of exposure and a lot of opportunity at a school like that.
Pass is dropped just short of the 10-yard line. They're trying to get Antonio Bird out. Ball in space, but he just could not hang on. That's going to bring up a third down and 10. Ball's at the 17-yard line. Again, you got to think they're going back to tally. They do not have a high safety on that side of the field. Just throw one up for them. Let them go make a play. They go instead over the middle. Has a man. It's Berto. He's in for 6. Made a man miss and then put it in to put his team back on top by 2 scores. And he is excited. Little man can get up too, Zach. Look at the height he's getting on those jumps. Volunteers offense came to play. They've already got 3 touchdowns on the board, and we're not even out of the first quarter yet. Extra point on the way as the snap is good. The kick is good. And that's a 21-14 lead for the Bowie Volunteers.
21-7.
Sorry, you're right. 21-7, a 14-point.
14-point swing, but the Texans will be looking for that 14th point on their next possession. Still a lot of football left to play. We'll be right back with more AISD Game of the Week presented by John Wade Roofing right after this.
Hey, this is John Wade Jr., Colt Football 97, class of 98. And the next time you have a roofing issue, be sure and call Arlington's favorite roofer, John Wade Roofing. Look us up on the internet at johnwaderoofing.com.
Hey Arlington residents, are you tired of rising insurance rates? Then it's time to make the switch to Chapman Cornelius Insurance Services, Inc. Since 1984, they've been your trusted local insurance experts offering competitive quotes for all your needs. Auto, homeowners, umbrella, renters, boats, and even classic cars. Why settle for less when you can get the best? Compare coverages today and see how much you can save. Call April or Jason at 817-265-3346. Chapman Cornelius, your local insurance partner since 1984.
Welcome back in on the Zap Network live at Wilemon Field in Arlington, Texas. The Bowie Volunteers are on top 21-7. The kick is a end-over-end kick that bounces and is maybe picked up by the Vols. We'll have to see who's at the bottom of the pile. That one is going to be held on by the Texans, but there you go, Zach.
Just barely.
That's what you were talking about where, hey, give your team a chance to maybe go steal a possession. Good field position to start for the Texans. They'll have it at their own 37-yard line. Got their first touchdown of the game on their previous drive. A good combination of the throw and pass. 2 big plays doing most of the heavy lifting. It was a big gash run by Jalen Harper and then a big catch and run from Carlos Santillan. Bowie fans are getting excited, doing a little banging on the bleachers. First down and 10. They bring a man in motion. They give it to him. Across the 35, wrestled down at the 36 that time. It was, trying to see who they gave it to. It was the wide receiver number 3, David Moreno. Brought him across the formation in motion. Second down and 10. Shotgun snap. They give up the middle, have a little bit of running room. Across the 45 down to the 47 is Jalen Harper, and that should be good for another Texans first down. A little bit of a counter play from the shotgun. Harper able to find a crease on the right side of that line and pick up about 12 or 13 yards. They bring Latarius Wilborn in motion. Shotgun snap is given to Harper. Makes one man miss, unable to get away from the second volunteer defender. Wrestled down for a gain of 1 or 2. Looks like it was number 26 for Bowie. Number 25, Princeton Campbell, making the play, the junior. Second down and 10 coming for the Texans offense. New running back checking into the game, Javian Holman. looking to get his first carries of the game. Two receivers on the far side of the field, one Santillan on the near side. The give is to Holman. He's got a little bit of running room, a little more power behind the pads for Holman as he gets across midfield down to the 48-yard line. Should bring up a 3rd down and 6. "30 seconds left to play in what has been a exciting first quarter. A lot of action early on here in Arlington. Jones operating at the line of scrimmage, looking to change the play up. Shotgun formation. Holman's still in the game at running back. Taking the snap, play action pass. Jones throws over the middle. This one is dropped. Hit his man in the hands. It was Devin Dawkins, the intended target. But once the hit came in from number 13, Zach Duncatel just could not hold on to the football.
We've called Duncatel's name a few times this evening. He making plays on special teams and now making one on the defensive side. 7 seconds left. This is likely the final play of the quarter.
4th down and 6. The offense will remain on the field. Jones takes the shotgun snap, throws going to the outside, and he overshot his intended receiver, Dawkins. That's going to be a turnover on downs. And
I don't know what happened to the game clock there, but
yeah, there should be 3 or 4 seconds left on the game clock, actually, Zach.
they started it late and then just kept running it even after it went incomplete. So we'll see if they put a few seconds back on the clock before we flip the field.
And I think that is going to be the end of the quarter, Zach. So that's the end of the first quarter. Bowie is on top 21-7. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on the Zap Network presented by John Wade Roofing.
Taquería Taco Express es la taquería oficial de Zach Arnold Productions. Extraordinaria y auténtica comida mexicana. Aquí encontrarás el mejor menú para el paladar más exigente. Puedes visitarlos en una de sus 3 sucursales ubicadas en Arlington y en Green Prairie. No te pierdas de su grandioso especial todos los martes, Taco Tuesday, de 5 tacos y un agua fresca por solo $10. Para encontrarnos o hacer un pedido, visítalos a su página web taqueriatacoexpress.com.
Local Legends Figures immortalizes your athlete's achievements for a lifetime. Featuring 6-inch figures with poses in football, baseball, band, hockey, even lacrosse. Local Legends makes every effort to show their likeness down to every possible uniform detail. To order your custom figure, call 817-681-0319 or email orders at locallegendsfigures.com.
Welcome back out to Wilemon Field. A second quarter of action getting ready to start between the Bowie Volunteers and the Sam Houston Texans. Bowie on top 21-7 after a offensive packed first quarter. The run game is clicking. The pass game is clicking. Nichols looks fantastic here early, Zach.
And you want things to be firing on all cylinders in a rivalry game, and that's just what we've got here as the scoreboard here at Wilemon finally resets to 12 minutes, and we're ready to resume with the second quarter of play.
I don't know about you, Zach, but I grew up a Notre Dame fan, and Notre Dame kind of took care of business against Navy for quite a long time, and then there was just one year where next thing you know, that tradition is broken, and you were the first starting quarterback at Notre Dame to lose against Navy in 30-something years, 40-something years. So there's definitely some pressure here on Nichols, as we mentioned, going back to 2018.
At least.
That's what we could find going back to 2018, that this Bowie team has taken care of business against Sam Houston. So if you're the starting quarterback for the Vols, you come in here knowing I can't lose this game tonight. I've got to take care of business. And so far, Nichols has done just that. First play they give to Bowers, a lot of pressure up the middle. He bounces it outside, finds a little bit of wiggle room, gets across midfield down to around the 45. It'll depend where they mark him out of bounds. Actually, they give him across the 45 to the 42. That'll be good for a first down. Great job by Bowers to bounce it outside. Some bit of a run blitz that time from the Texans, and he read it well. Trips on the near side of the field. Again, they give to Bowers. He runs towards the near sideline, makes his move up the middle down to the 40-yard line. That'll be a good chunk gain on first down. Good 5 yards.
We mentioned that he averages 7+, so a little bit lower than his average, but I would imagine when we take a look at the halftime stats, he'll be averaging at least 7 or more after that big gainer he had on the last possession.
Should be a free play. They go to Tally. He holds on. What a catch, and he's on the loose. 10, 5, touchdown balls. What a play. It was contested. It was tipped, and he somehow hung on.
As you mentioned, a free play with a flag on the play, offsides against the defense. They will take the touchdown instead.
I cannot believe that he hung on to that football, Zach. That one was highly contested. It looked like even one of the Texans defenders was going to knock it out of his hands, but yet somehow the fingertips held on, and then Tally was gone. Another touchdown for the Vols, 27-7, extra point coming. Offensive explosion tonight here in Arlington. The snap is good. The kick is blocked. It's blocked, and that is going to be the first missed extra point of the game tonight. 27-7 is now the lead, a 20-point edge for the Bowie Vols. You are listening to the AISD Game of the Week on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Pecan Park Dental, where Dr. Stephanie Bangs and her team specialize in caring for the whole family. From routine checkups and cosmetic dentistry to dental implants and treating sleep apnea, they make dental care easy and convenient for busy parents. Located right here in Arlington, Pecan Park Dental is ready to keep your family smiling. John Wade Roofing has been serving the Arlington area since 1982, but the Wade legacy runs much deeper in the city of Arlington. A pioneer family that has had roots going back decades, John Wade and Company saw relatives attend the Cooper Street Arlington High campus and has had members play in Colt athletics for decades, and they're looking forward to serving this community for decades to come. Find out more at johnwaderoofing.com.
Welcome back into the AISD Game of the Week here on the ZAP Network. The Bowie Volunteers are on top 27-7.
Up by 20.
Up by 20. This end-over-end kick, a fair catch called at the 32-yard line. It was the tight end, Latarius Wilborn, taking care of that one. Dylan Talley showing you early and often here in this game, Zach, why he is so highly sought after in the college ranks.
He is a D1 talent, and he has shown it here in the first half. Being able to find the soft spots in the zone, being able to get yards after the catch, being able to get after a contested pass and make the most of a free play. He's doing it all for the Bowie offense. And that's quite a contrast because usually this run offense tends to rely on Bowers to get their spark, but tonight they're getting it from outside.
First down and 10, they give up the middle to Jalen Harper. A little bit of room, picks up about a yard, but not much working. And again, they continue to bang Harper up the middle, but with his speed and athleticism, I don't understand why we're not running him off tackle a little bit more. Second down and 9 coming for the Texans. Jones looking to get something going with the right arm. He's made some good throws, has had some balls that have not been hauled in by his wide receivers. Jones takes the snap, looks to throw, has a man going deep. This one is caught at the 30-yard line.
Wow.
Montavious Jones leaps up over 3 Bowie defenders, and now he's going to get flagged for taunting. Cannot do that.
You can't pick up 40 and then get 15 of them taken away from you. It was a high pass, which is what we wanted to see Jones throw in the direction of Santillan a little while ago. This time the catch is made in double coverage, but you can't excessively celebrate your achievements or you'll have 2 or 3 pieces of laundry on the field, which is what we saw just now.
I have to think it was the ball spin right in the face of the defender that did it that time. So we're going to go from the 29-yard line all the way back to the 44. What a killer after the first real big play of the second quarter for the Texans. But still a first down. Two receivers stacked on the far side. The give is up the middle. Harper makes his way down to about the 40-yard line, maybe the 39, depending on where the final spot ends up. I'll have to see if it's a right foot or left foot spot, Zach. That's going to be the left foot. So they have him at the 40. Gain of 3 on first down. Two receivers on the far side of the field, one receiver on the near side. It's Dawkins. They give up the middle again to Harper. He gets across the 40, almost to the 35. He's wrapped up at the 36-yard line. That'll bring up a third down and 6. (27-7). Bowie on top of Sam Houston here in the New York rivalry. It's been so
Battle for New York.
Battle for New York. Here's a swing pass out to the far side, to the near sideline, across the 35, down to the 29. That's going to be real close, maybe a half yard short. Decision time on the way for head coach Chris James.
Well, when you trail by this much in a rivalry game and you need some momentum in plus territory, I don't think there is much of a decision here. You're going for this.
Got to go. And we've been calling for that play, the swing pass out to Harper. They give to Harper up the middle, lowers his shoulder, gets across the 30. That should be good for first down yardage, and it is.
It's a good hurry-up approach. Try to catch Bowie off their feet. And they do just enough. Needed 1, got about 1.5, maybe 2.
You know, we haven't seen it yet from the from Sam Houston quarterback Ken Jones, but as hard as they commit on Harper, I wouldn't mind seeing him keep one and just take it around the outside, pick up some yardage. Play action pass going deep. He has overthrown this one, and it is intercepted. It was Zach Duncatel making another play for the Volunteers, and he intercepts it in the end zone for a touchback.
You can't continuously throw it into double coverage. Jones got lucky on the first deep attempt. This one comes back to bite him, and Bowie will get the first turnover of the game, leading by 20.
You got to know your personnel a little bit more, Zach. Montavious Jones, who he threw it up for the first time, is over 6 feet tall. That time, Devin Dawkins is a smaller receiver. He's not going up into double coverage and making that play.
There is a flag down at the 4-yard line. Depends on whether the play was taking place when the flag was thrown, or
if another unsportsmanlike. This one's going to be on Bowie. Some celebration happening here, and as you said, it's a rivalry game tonight. These teams do not like each other, and as they continue taunting each other, it's being noticed.
Good control by the officiating crew, though. They're not going to let this taunting get out of hand. I believe the interception was made inside the 5, and then he retreated into the end zone. This unsportsmanlike is going to penalize them half the distance to the goal. Tim, this is barely on the 1-yard line, maybe the 2 if they're lucky, deep in their own territory.
Could this be a break for the Texans if they could maybe get a safety here? Nichols in the shotgun formation under his own goalpost. They give up the middle to Bowers. He makes one man miss. He's going outside. He's thinking 99 here. Across the 30, 35, 40, past midfield and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So there's 54 yards right there for Darius Bowers.
That's just unreal athleticism. He sees the hole, he attacks it, and then kicks it into the next level. And you go from the shadow of your own goalpost at risk of a safety to getting it all the way across midfield. Just some fantastic athleticism there.
Bowers checks out for a breather. Ball is spotted at the 49-yard lines where they say he ran out of bounds. Almost got the Texans to jump off sides again, but instead they will just kind of change the play call up. And that's going to be
The play clock is not working right now, Tim. They're having to do this with the officials, it looks like.
Play action pass, the tight end screen across the 40, 45, 30, down to the 10, 5, and out of bounds. It was Zion Shelley, but there is some laundry on the field. I think the reason he sprung free was a little bit of holding on one of those wide receivers.
A little bit. The receiver straight up tackled that safety in order to create a lane for Shelley to go down the near sideline. You cannot do that, especially not in front of the zebra that's running down the sideline watching the play unfold.
Tackle, block. Really just depends who you're rooting for, right?
It could be, because I mean there are some
It's
plays.
coming back though.
There are some plays called the pancake where bringing the guy to the ground is what you're supposed to do, but in this instance, not to be.
They still do get the first down though. So another first down and 10 for the Vols. Nichols, shotgun throw, Tally at the 35 and wrestled down immediately. They give him about 2 yards on the first down. They give him another yard, 3 yards on the first down catch, down to the 34-yard line.
Good open field tackle there by Niamari, the defensive back for the Texans. Did not let the yards after catch happen this time.
Second down and 7. They fake the handoff, go back to Tally. He catches, spins out of the first tackle, but eventually wrapped up across the 25 down to the 23-yard line. Another first down for the Vols. Tally's so good. Once he gets that ball in his hand, he just spins away from the tackle, spinning upfield. Tough to get 2 hands on.
I think he's just feeling it right now, Tim. He is not going to be denied anytime he gets his hands on the ball.
Nichols going over the middle. He's got a man. It's a touchdown. He hit the wide receiver, Antonio Burdau, right in the numbers, and that's another volunteer touchdown. And this one is now getting into the mid-30s in the score. Extra point coming. It's 33-7 with the Vols on top.
See, the problem is Sam Houston doesn't have the strength on the outside to be able to go man-to-man, so they shifted to zone there. But the receiver was able to go in between the 2 safeties after getting past the second line of defense. So Nichols is doing it all right now. He's getting the man-on-man opportunities that he wants, and as soon as the Texans switch to zone, he picks them apart.
Extra point on the way. It is up, and it is good. 34-7. Vols on top here at Wilemon Field. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing. Be right back after this.
Las albercas en Texas necesitan servicios durante todo el año. Rummy Pools brinda servicios de calidad, incluyendo limpieza, mantenimiento y reparaciones. Llama al número 469-951-0107 para una consulta gratuita y pregunta por Roberto. Rummy Pools, haremos que te enamores de tu alberca de nuevo.
Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hear Zach talk about things beyond the realm of sport, catch him with me, Ben Hart, on the Intergalactic Peace Coalition podcast. For nearly a decade, we've been geeking out on IPC about our favorite nerdy things. We have a back catalog of over 350 episodes diving into sci-fi and fantasy stories like no one else. Find the Intergalactic Peace Coalition at ipcpodcast.podbean.com or download via your favorite podcast app.
Back at Wilemon Field here on the Zap Network, and it's an offensive onslaught tonight from the Bowie Volunteers. They have brought their A game. Up 34-7, 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. A high end-over-end kick fielded at the 39-yard line by Latarius Wilborn, and he'll go down immediately, falling on it for safety. Again, this kickoff strategy for the Vols, not trying to kick it deep. They don't really have that in their repertoire. At some point, they're hoping to steal possession with one of these kicks.
Still a lot of football left to play. I would not be surprised if at least one of those took place. 6:57 to go until halftime.
Jones in the shotgun has two receivers on the far side of the field. The handoff up the middle, gaining some good yardage on first down is Harper. The ball came out, but I think he was down first, and they say he was.
Yeah, umpire throwing his index finger towards the turf to indicate that Harper had possession, went down, and then lost the ball. So it'll be a pickup of about 7 or 8 there.
You give him 8 on the first down carry, Zach. Harper's looked good here tonight when he's had space to work with, but this Sam Houston offensive line has had their hands full with the Volunteer front. Shotgun snap. Here's some laundry on the field. Jones rolling, trying to buy some extra time. He makes the men miss. He's across midfield and out of bounds. Picks up a first down for the senior quarterback. We'll have to see what the penalty is. It's a illegal formation penalty, and hey, Roger Goodell got the message all the way down to the high school referees. We're cracking down on them.
So it would seem.
I don't know if you've seen any of the outrageous amount of penalties called for illegal formation so far this season, Zach, but it's high.
Haven't been keeping up with the NFL so much as some of my teams at the collegiate ranks. My Liberty Flames aren't going to be able to play their game against Appalachian State this weekend due to the events of Hurricane Helene. So we send our best wishes to everybody out on the East Coast affected by that storm.
2nd down and 7. Shotgun snap. Rolling to his left. Trying to find a receiver. Throws this one high and out of bounds. It was off the hands of Latarius Wilborn, the tight end. Good job by Jones to just find himself some extra time. But at the end of the day, Zach, nobody's open.
Nobody's open, and he was going to his offhand the way we saw Nichols do in the first quarter. He had a lot of open space there, but again, he wasn't able to set his feet very well and was throwing against his body, against the grain, and it led to an incompletion, and it's 3rd down and 7. It's quite a contrast the way you go from a quarterback scramble that moves the chains across midfield to a penalty that backs you up to 2nd and long, now 3rd and long. Those 5 yards are making a world of difference for the Sam Houston possession.
3rd down and 7. Play action, looking to throw, trying to find some room. Taking off as Jones, he's wrestled down across the 45 down to the 46-yard line, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 4.
Looks like Coach James does not want to give Bowie possession in plus territory, going to make them go the length of the field. Neftali Gekong coming out for punt formation.
I think that's sadly what you have to do here, right? With
the score being what it is
and the time in the half left, you don't want it to get, 41-7 if you just hand them great field position. So the hope is you pin them deep, let your defense go make a stop, flip the field position. But instead, we are going to get a timeout on the field. This one taken by Sam Houston. We'll take it with them. 5:22 left to go in the second quarter. 34-7. Bowie on top of Sam Houston. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
John Wade Roofing is celebrating 40 years serving the Arlington area. John Sr. played for Colt football and was the team MVP in '76. He went on to play for TCU, earning all conference honors. The family has a Colt legacy that spans generations and wants to help your family's roofing needs, plus gutters, painting, solar, and more. For more information, go to johnwaderoofing.com.
.522 to go until the half. Sam Houston coming out in punt formation, trying to flip the field position a little bit and see if their defense can get a stop. They had a few in the first quarter, Tim, but so far, Bowie's been able to pull away with touchdown drive after touchdown drive.
Yeah, Coach Joseph Sam made some adjustments. This punt is not going to be what they were looking for. It gets barely across midfield to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Gekong had a little bit of pressure in his face, and he ended up going high with it instead of deep, and it'll barely go across midfield as Bowie probably only loses about 10 or 12 yards of field position on that punt. Not very high of a net.
Hindsight's 20/20. Might as well have gone for it. 5:14 here in the second quarter. Bowie on top, 34-7. Nichols has had a very nice game so far. But he is out of the game, actually. It's now Jaden Bibbs in at quarterback. The junior getting an opportunity. The handoff is to Bowers. He's got room. Makes a man move. Shake and bake his way across the 45 and steps out of bounds for a first down.
According to Pops, during last week's game, Bibbs did see some playing time. And we heard during the preseason that Bibbs could see some time because he's got a little bit of dual threat capability. And at this stage in the game, you're going to want to run the clock. So if you can give it to Bowers or keep it with your dual threat, it helps melt that clock more.
Bowers coming near sideline, makes his move up the field across the 45 down to the 40. Actually gets even all the way to the 39 falling forward. And you're right, Zach, you're trying to milk some clock here. You're already up 27. They have not shown any ability to stop your run game, but why would you want to let your starting quarterback and your senior Larry Nichols take those hits when you've got a guy in Jaden Bibbs who brings you a little bit something different, a little bit more flash on the quarterback keeper, and you just continue to fight another day in a quest for a district championship.
Speaking of getting beat up a little bit, number 14, Denzel Ponder is going to take this handoff with Bowers checking out.
And he spins his way out of a tackle across the 35-yard line down to the 32. Another first down for the Vols. Yeah, if I'm Joseph Sam right now, I don't want Darion Bowers taking another shot. I don't want my starting quarterback Larry Nichols taking another shot. We're going to give the younger guys a chance to get some varsity reps, and we're going to run the football.
Yeah, Bowers had 172 yards on just 10 rushes last week against Grand Prairie. And then Ponder came in with 12 rushes for 48 yards and a couple of scores. So it's kind of a four-headed monster in the backfield when you count the two quarterbacks and the two running backs that can make a difference for this Volunteer offense.
He picked up 5 on the first down carry, did Ponder. Ball is now spotted at the 30. Shotgun snap to give us to Ponder again. He plows ahead down to the 25-yard line. That's going to bring up a third down and 2 or 3. Now some late flags come in. I think we're getting a little chippy out there.
Well, with the score being what it is, I think it is pretty apparent that frustration could take place on the field. My concern, Tim, is that it doesn't take place in the.
I think we just had an ejection. I think Okello was just ejected, Zach, for. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I think Naftali Gikonge, the defensive back and punter for Sam, was just ejected.
The only way you get truly ejected is if you have two unsportsmanlike calls, which I don't think has happened.
Maybe I'm incorrect. They did send him off the field, though.
Or if you throw a punch.
I think he threw a punch.
If he threw a punch, then he's gone. We'll keep our eyes open.
Third down play. Bibbs is going to keep it himself. Tries to make one-man miss. Gets across the 20 and does have enough for the first down.
You know, Tim, I noticed the ball didn't move there. They must have been offsetting penalties. They didn't move it 15 yards after that unsportsmanlike was called.
You are correct. We'll have to keep an eye on Gikonge, but I thought it looked like he was sent off by the referee, Zach. We'll have to see. He's the punter for this team as well. The handoff now to another running back for the Volunteers. This one is Joseph Campbell getting carries. The sophomore looked pretty good on that one, picking up about 5 yards on the first down carry.
And why not distribute it? Give your guys some opportunities. We're coming up on 2 minutes before the break. And they're sniffing at that red zone again, Tim. Another opportunity to put points on the board.
Bowers checks back in. Ball spotted at the 19-yard line. Bibbs has looked pretty good on this drive. Hasn't had to put the ball in the air yet, though. We'll see what they do on the second down play. Play action. Bibbs steps up, has some room to run across the 20 down to the 15-yard line.
And that is what Coach Sam was talking to me about during the preseason, Tim. He didn't see anybody open, but he saw some space up the middle. He tucks it and runs and picks up what positive yards he can as the clock continues to run a $1:20 until the break.
3rd down and a long 2 yards. Bibbs has 2 receivers on each side of the field. Now they bring Shelley in motion. They fake to Shelley and now have a screen set up for Bowers. He's got blockers ahead of him. Makes a move at the 10s. Fumbles the ball, but picked up in the end zone for a touchdown.
We'll have to see how all this plays out. There was a Sam Houston player that lost his helmet but was continuing to pursue Bowers on the near side of the field. He made contact with Bowers at about the 2 that I think forced the fumble. If the player who lost his helmet was the one who made the play, does that blow the play dead?
And to make matters worse, Zach, I think Bowers injured his hand on the play. He's down. His helmet came immediately off. He's with the trainers on the sideline grabbing his hand. We're still waiting for an official ruling. All the Bowie coaches are thinking this should be a touchdown, but the referee's got his foot down at the 1-yard line.
The headlinesman talking to the man in the white hat at about the 20-yard line as they come to a decision.
I don't get how that's not a touchdown, Zach. He fumbled it in bounds. A player who was in bounds picked it up and brought it into the end zone.
I don't think you're allowed to fumble the ball forward, though. I think if it goes forward, then the play is blown dead at the spot of the fumble.
He didn't fumble it forward. The player picked it up and brought it forward. He fumbled it. A lineman picked up the ball and then carried it forward. I would have to think that is, unless it's some high school specific rule, part of the problem with being in the booth like we are, we don't get to hear all the explanations that the referee has to offer.
The coaches have the privy of getting said explanation on the sideline, which is what Coach James is getting on the far side of our vantage point right now. But with 56 seconds to go and the ball at the 2-yard line and Bowie with 2 timeouts, it seems inevitable that another score is on its way before we head to the locker room.
They've got a heavy set ahead of the running back, and pounding it in for 6 is Joseph Campbell. They had 2 tight ends come into the game to lead the way for Campbell.
It's not fair to call them tight ends. Those are defensive linemen that just come in to push.
Well, Shelley was one, but they did bring in Galatian Payagofi, and he put a pretty big hole in that defensive line for the Texans. Another flag on the play. Did it happen before or after the touchdown was scored, though?
Things are getting chippy here late in the first half. 51 seconds to go until the break in the Battle of New York.
Concrete jungle. New York. A little Jay-Z for you.
My wife actually went unsportsmanlike against Sam Houston.
So the touchdown will stand.
And then it'll be a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff, most likely.
You know, Zach,
my wife went to New York not too long ago, got to see the Empire State Building, the Brooklyn Bridge, said it was a really great experience, got to take a boat out to the Statue of Liberty. Didn't go inside, but she said that doing all of those touristy things is definitely worth it to just experience New York for the first time the way she did.
I've been a few times. There's the one thing I really want to do is they have a double-decker pizza tour. This extra point attempt is up and good. But you literally take a double-decker bus and have a slice of pizza at 12 different famous New York pizzerias.
That's amazing.
If that doesn't sound like a perfect trip, I don't know what does. But 12 slices of pizza from New York City pizzerias in a day is the perfect amount of pizza for
You're
me.
basically getting an entire pizza on the tour and then some, depending on if you get an 8 or a 12 slicer. So yeah, you get a ton of variety and a little slice of life in New York.
When you're in a New York pizzeria, Zach, and you're getting a single slice, are you going any toppings? Are you a plain cheese kind of guy? What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, I saw on a TV show of all places that one of the best ways to have a litmus test of different pizzerias is to just try their cheese pizza because
Bingo.
different places may have different specialties, and it's tough to compare one place's meat lovers to another place's supreme. And so you have to have a baseline and
Absolutely.
just try everybody's cheese to see what makes it a good pizza.
Could not agree more. It's the best way to judge the undercarriage, to judge the sauce, the quality of cheese, quality of ingredients. I would like to consider myself a pizza connoisseur. I actually worked for a little company called Grimaldi's.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Where their foundings go all the way back to Brooklyn, and actually before that, the owner Patsy Grimaldi worked at Lombardi's, the first pizzeria in the United States, opened back in 1905. I've actually been there, had a slice, got a tour, showed me the oven.
That's awesome.
It was a cool day. After the penalty, this kickoff will take place from the 45-yard line, booting it deep and through the back of the end zone for the Volunteers. That'll set up the Texans with a 1st down and 10 at the 25-yard line after the touchback.
And that's the only way that you're going to get a touchback in this ball game is from an unsportsmanlike that got drilled only about 2 yards deep, but Sam Houston decided to lay off of it anyways. A lot of kickoffs that go 2 yards deep in the end zone still get returned, but Sam Houston seems content to potentially run a couple of plays with Harper and hit the showers, trailing big in this rivalry game here in the first half.
41-7, the Vols are on top. I got to think they call the dogs off a little bit in the second half, and you see some more plays like that last drive there where more sustained running plays. Here's a handoff up the middle. It is Jalen Harper wrestled down after a gain of 6 on 1st down. Clock inside of 50 seconds, running down. Texans want to move quickly. They're already back at the line. Jones takes the snap, gives again to Harper. This time, nowhere to go. He's wrapped up across the 30 at the 31-yard line. It'll be no gain on 2nd down, 3rd and 3.
I don't think they need to run another play here, Tim.
I wouldn't. But we'll see if they do, because if you throw the ball, that brings a lot more risk into play. It's a 3rd down and 3.
8 seconds. Everybody's lined up. We'll see if they snap it.
They do snap it. They throw it. Little screen pass, and this one is dropped. There should be some time left on the clock, maybe a second or two, but we'll have to see how the referees.
I don't think anybody wants to play that last play, Tim.
I think you're right, Zach. So here we are through the first half of play, 41-7. The Bowie Volunteers are on top of the Sam Houston Texans. We're going to take a quick break. We'll let the bands do their thing, and then we will be back in action for the Taqueria Taco Express halftime show. Again, 41-7, Vols on top of the Texans here on the Zap Network, the AISD Game of the Week, presented by John Wade Roofing.
The 2024 football season is upon us, and as you all know, Zach Arnold Productions has expanded their coverage not only beyond Arlington High School and Sam Houston High School, but we've got the Bowie Volunteers as well, and we're super excited for that and really excited to be talking to the Bowie head coach and athletic coordinator, Joseph Sam. Coach, thank you so much. I know that football season is right around the corner for you, so taking time out of your busy schedule means a lot to us. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you and appreciate the time that you've given us to highlight our program.
This is a pretty important year for you. You've got an opportunity to finally get your coaching record at Bowie to a winning record. You need to go 8-2 in order to have a plus record. How do you feel like that could turn out? Do you feel like, based on your roster and based on what you've seen, that that's attainable?
Yeah, I think it's highly attainable. It all depends on, the kids just executing and staying positive throughout the process. Our team is experienced. This is the team that, they were here since they were freshmen, so they understand what the standard is and things like that. I'm not too worried about my own personal record because all I care about is us being 1-0 every week and playing 16 weeks. Because if we can play 16 weeks, we got a chance to win it all.
What was like a top item on your to-do list when you first arrived, and how do you feel like that's going at this stage of your time at Bowie?
Number one was getting the kids back in the building. When I took the job over, it was during COVID, and there were 21 kids showing up to all season. So,
oh, wow.
I had to make a concerted effort just to get the kids back out playing football again. So, I had to knock on doors. I basically took a rank 1 roster and started knocking on doors and things like that. And we really didn't know who our team was going to be that first year. Not until, the first day of fall camp. So, we were working behind the 8 ball, but as you can tell, we've steadily improved every year that I've been here.
Yeah, very, very, very evident, from a 2-8 to 5-6 to 7-4, 5-1 in district last year with just a 1-point heck of a ball game against Martin. It's been improving every year, and we touched on it off the bat, but I'm really curious how high you feel the ceiling is for this team. You've mentioned that you've got a lot of senior classes as kids that have been here since they were freshmen. Like, you've got all of the pieces of the puzzle put together right now, it seems.
Yeah, I think this team's limit is how high they want to be. Not putting restrictions on us, but, we talk about 16 weeks. We're not afraid to talk about playing 16 weeks. We're not just talking about, I know some coaches will just talk about, hey, we just want to get in the playoffs. Well, we're past that point as a program. It's all right, let's play to Thanksgiving. Let's play till December. Now let's get to 16 weeks. So that's the process we've been through. That's kind of where we're at as a program is, trying to go 1-0 6 times. Because, I've seen 5-5 teams win state championships. I've seen undefeated teams losing the first round. So that's why I don't care about my own personal record, because who cares what your personal record is when you're making a run in the playoffs? It's
true. That is true. It can take a little bit of time to establish your own brand and your own identity in a program. You've talked to me personally about some of the coaches at Bowie that came before you and how you weren't necessarily trying to be different from what they did, but just trying to build upon some of the culture that they established. What can you talk about the culture that exists at Bowie on the football field and just at the school in general?
The culture of the team is really centered around 2 things. An eat mentality, which is playing with effort, attitude, with a positive attitude and being tough. And, playing as a family, which means forget about me, I love you. 2 things that the whole thing is centered around. And sorry. All right, I lost thought on the question.
No, that's all right. You're talking about the culture, how the team wants to eat. How does that translate into the school setting when we're talking about school culture as well?
Well, I think football sets the whole tone for the school when it comes to, school discipline. I think the more successful your football season is, studies have shown that school discipline is dropped. I also think, it brings a better vibe to the school amongst teachers, amongst admin, and, just amongst the school body in general, because it brings pride to the school. And, we just want to play a simple opponent and bring in that positive school pride at Bowie High School.
Part of building the football identity is surrounding yourself with a solid coaching staff. How do you feel about your coordinators and position coaches, the people that are with you in the trenches day in and day out? What can you say about them?
I feel really good about them. Most of the guys have been here with me since I've taken the job. The guys that have left, they've been blessed to go on and, take promotions. So, as a head coach, your job is not only to develop the kids in your program, but also the coaches in your program.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to kind of help those guys reach their professional goals, just like you want your kids to reach their athletic goals, whatever that may be. And so that's kind of where we are as a football program is, we're trying to basically develop these kids and coaches and making sure that, everybody's on the up and up. I think coaches understand the expectation now. The kids understand the expectation. With everything, you can always get better. Because person, okay, it's good. Now, how can we make it better type person?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that I kind of task myself with every day is, what's the ways we can make meetings better? What's the ways we can make the way we lift weights better, practice better?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're constantly striving to get better, it tries to eliminate that complacency that can come with, with consistency can come complacency.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to try to make sure that you don't get complacent as a head coach when it comes to just growing the program.
That makes sense. When we came to the inter-squad scrimmage not too long ago, there were a couple of drills that were going on between offense and defense, and there was some jawing that was taking place, not just between the players, but also some of their coaches as well. Was that intentional, or is that just people taking pride in their craft?
It's a little bit of both. I obviously, as a coach, you want to take pride in it. As a head coach, you have to take your jabs at either side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really just celebrate one side of the ball as a head coach, but you do want that competitive spirit in the coaches because you want that kind of competitive spirit in the kids.
Right.
The biggest thing as a coach is just teaching them how to control that competitive spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best teams are really good at controlling their competitive spirit, not dimming it, but just knowing when it's time to turn it off. Okay, let's turn it back on. So, and that's the biggest thing that we're trying to instill in our kids at this point in our program is, nothing's wrong with a little bit of fun spirit, but you got to know when to turn it off as well.
Right. Play between the whistles instead of before or after them.
Yes, sir.
What can you say about the experience of finally getting to put pads on in that inter-squad scrimmage, and how did that translate to your scrimmage against Richardson? How do you feel like those two events are helping shape this team for this season?
Well, it gets you ready. It's just a part of the process of getting you ready for that first game. Flower Mound's a great opponent. I think Coach Basil and his staff do a great job. But at the same time, our kids getting those pads on and doing those things, sometimes the best way to practice tackling is actually tackling people.
Right.
And then, when we play Richardson in our scrimmage, this is the first time a lot of our kids, got to see it under the Friday night lights, just being put in situations. We put them in different situations in the scrimmage, starting from the negative side of the field offensively, starting on the positive side of the field, getting put in the red zone, and then a live quarter, which, all four of those situations are situations that, as coaches, that regardless of who you're playing, those kind of situations are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing our kids being placed in those situations, how they react, and then, as a coach, you're always seeing what you can work on because, even though, Flower Mound's the first game, we got 3 games to get ready before games really start counting in district. So that's what the scrimmage and the inter squad and the scrimmage gets you ready for. It's the first time your kids are placed in those situations.
It's a good opportunity for the coaching staff to figure out how to do in-game adjustments as opposed to the types of adjustments you would make during a practice where you have a little bit more time to be able to dedicate to exactly what you're asking them to do. Sometimes you have to make those changes on the fly, so it's probably a good experience for the coaches too.
Absolutely. We put on the headsets for the first time since spring ball. In spring ball, it's offense versus defense, but coaches are split up, in the spring game. So, just working out the logistics of, for the coaches is not only coaching logistics, but also management logistics, when it comes to, okay, when our kids go to the bench and coaches need to talk to them, like, where do our kids want, where do we want our kids to sit? Who's sitting where, who's talking to who, those are the different types of things that, when you see it in a scrimmage, you got to make sure those are ironed out.
Is there anything in particular that you want to have ironed out by week 1, or did you feel pretty good about the way it was run?
I feel pretty good overall about how things were going on. I mean, it was just little things, but no major wholesale changes. One of the things that, I thought that we need to work on is just even and we didn't have an actual flag, but where's the flag going to be on for the national anthem? Whatnot. Right. Just like directing kids on where we're going to be. Like we practiced how we were going to do it, but when we got to the scrimmage, there was no flag, so the kids were kind of discombobulated.
They didn't know where to face.
Yeah. So it's just little things like that. So.
And my hand is crazy. And if I look else, it was barely takes me always like. Arguments are crazy. He said you never text me, motherfucker. Never text me, motherfucker. You never text me, motherfucker. You never text. Said that, not us. Don't come back. Don't come back. You know this at your fuck. Stop sharing. Stop sharing the location. Share the location at anywhere. I still like me. She said no. Okay, yes. Now this is before. BJ, tell them. Uncle Doug talks. Birthday, babe. BJ, you want to. He said, don't come back early so you realize. No, is that the same one that did the go? What? Go, and did you tweet it? You deleted it. I don't have to. Now, what did you get to do? Don't lie. Yeah, you know. Fine. Break it down. Favorite one of kids? Yeah, 10 minutes. What means? My heart, my life, my happy. Oh, it's late. He better okay. Is that a bitch in the town? Don't hurt. Like, it's really going on. BJ. Bonzi is 8. Talk about her phone. Say her phone. This might check this. Drive out real good. That's right. Baby, I want to that looks like you just went in the bathroom, took off your shirt, and wrapped your towel around. Pretty. Oh, lovely. Christopher! You were born dog. I know, I'll text you. You got a handbag on? You got a handbag on? Oh, yeah, you got Get one next week. Next year. I'll wait no next week. Next day. It look good. Now. I'm gonna say you sleeping. Let me see later. I can mad that I can tell you something. So, yeah, the rich folk. Yeah, and they got slide. And they live here under that ridiculous. They're living more than the rest of them. Different hairstyle. Wait. If they give a real good. That's a total on my back suit. Sweat. How we find harder? That's what I was going on. In the French. I didn't just been a 30-minute intro. The bands together. I ain't even gonna. I'm not even gonna post dealer. And print, she got. She got it tonight. You got it. Yeah, she got it today. Awesome. Like this is not the picture. In her world, she was. You know, in her world. Yeah, we do it. But the band, please, come to this box. That's an ultra. Oh, my friend. I'm not cute. Yeah, man. It's probably the weekend before Thanksgiving. I'm playing. Actually, probably did. Hey, bud. They're not together. Well, they ain't been together. Right now, that was just the little there. That's the problem. But you look, spend it out every time. It ain't the fun. It ain't it like that, but it's like a problem. I feel like you don't take it to take it. Yeah, that's your what is it? Yeah, you let me tell you. Oh, I can't go. No, that's Tia. That's for Tia. I don't know because we're supposed to be going to we might be going to like I tell thank you. What's up in your phone thing? Yeah, no, whatever you have it. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Oh. I'm going to the concession stand. Oh, bug at you. You're nasty. Sorry, girl. So, yeah, he the bug man. Come on. Yeah. Is she going to the concession stand? No, you have to quit stealing at 50. Put your hands on her. I told her I'm crossing out great picture. Got no range on me. She's still grabbing her neck. She ain't coming back. Baby, you ain't got to look at it. Because now you're going to turn me as a freak like she looked like, what's this? I am not going back home there. It's obvious that she's not like me. Look, Oh my God.
The game of the week presented by John Wade Roofing. This is the Taqueria Taco Express halftime show. Taqueria Taco Express features a wide, authentic Mexican food menu across the entire city of Arlington. With a new fourth location opening at Little and 287 this fall, taking advantage of their Taco Tuesday deal has never been easier. Get 5 tacos and an agua fresca for just $10. Or visit on Mondays for the new quesadilla birria, only $9.99. Whatever Mexican food you're craving, Taqueria Taco Express has you covered. Place orders online to collect points you can redeem for free food. You can find their 4 locations and place orders online at taqueriatacoexpress.com. Zach, not a whole lot to say about that first half besides, Bowie brought it to him.
It's been the Bowie Volunteer Show, and I know that reader was a mouthful. I will just add on that you can get a really good mouthful at Taqueria Taco
Ooh,
Express.
I like it.
They have a really, really great menu, and if you go to the location at Collins and Green Oaks, ask for Omar and let him know that Zach sent you. Um, Bowie has just been a juggernaut. There's no other way to put it. Those non-district games have helped prepare them for district play. They put it on display last week against Grand Prairie. They've got it on display against Sam Houston again this week. Even if it is a rivalry, it's just two different weight classes going on right now. You know, Bowie's front seven defensively is stopping Harper more than he's getting loose, and the offensive line for Bowie is opening up holes for players like Bowers and Ponder, and they're just picking apart the Sam Houston defense, and it's evident on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and let's be honest, if Bowie doesn't call the dogs off in the first half, they could have put a 50 burger up if they really wanted to.
Probably.
But I do think we're going to see maybe some more sustained drives here in the second half, especially depending on how they play the quarterback position. They did take Larry Nichols out for that final drive of the second quarter, and they went to the junior Jaden Bibbs, who is a little bit more of an option quarterback, and it just had a longer sustained drive that killed a little bit more clock. So we'll see how that one goes. New kicker in the game for the Vols. He boots this one pretty well struck, fielded at the 13-yard line across the 20, 25, and down to the 30-yard line. Good effort there from Jalen Harper. Some good field position starting for the Texans. It was Denzel Pont. No, I'm sorry. It was Gael Garcia that time who came in to kick.
And I expect we're going to have to really read that Bowie varsity roster that we've got in front of us. We'll be calling a lot of 2s and possibly 3s on the depth chart the deeper into this ball game that we go. And, if they get a couple more scoring drives, we could end up with a running clock. We'll have to wait and see. But I still want to see effort from this Sam Houston team. I still want to see them try to get a sustained drive like you talked about and get some points on the board.
They come out throwing this one to the far sideline, and it is a bit low and dropped. Looking for the receiver, Jaden Phillips, was Jones. And this has kind of been the theme of the night and really the theme of the season for Jones. Unable to get into a rhythm. Ball placement has not been good. He's made the right decision on certain guys, but where he's putting the football on them doesn't allow them to make easy catches.
Yeah, he makes good reads, but then he doesn't complete the throw properly.
Second down and 10, spinning across the 35 down to the 36-yard line. It was Jalen Harper. Big gain on second down, picks up 7, maybe even 8 yards to make it third short. They do give him 8.
The next opportunity we get, we'll give you some scores from around the district.
Handoff up the middle again to Harper. He is fighting for the tough yards here. You want to talk about not giving up. Harper pumping his legs across midfield all the way to the 45-yard line. He went 17 yards with like 6 people on his back, and now here comes the laundry.
This is something we were afraid of right before halftime. There was some chippiness, some pushing and shoving, and then the next thing you know, some more mustard on the lettuce.
I like that one, Zach. What's your favorite kind of mustard?
You know, I grew up on just traditional mustard, but I could go for a Dijon or a honey mustard depending on the right meal that it's going with.
I like a good stone ground.
Stone ground is good too. But I'll tell you though, I have a mustard dish that you would not expect mustard to be on.
What do you got?
I used to put them on my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That is certainly different.
That is not something anybody else would ever have. I did it as a deterrent because my little sister used to eat my sandwiches, and I learned that she hated mustard. So I would put mustard on my food to keep her out of my food.
First down and 10. They bring the wide receiver in motion and give it to him. It was Santillon that time, but he's wrapped up immediately. He's going to lose about 3 yards.
And that's the jet sweep that I was talking about in the first half. Get your players out in space. But it's a little bit too little too late now as this one moves back close to midfield.
We're talking mustard. You know, when I was with the Air Hogs, it was the first year that the Chicago Dogs were a team in Chicago. They have 2 mascots up there. One guy, the good guy, one the bad guy. Mustard is the good guy. Ketchup, the villain.
Interesting.
No ketchup on your hot dog in Chicago. This one blown dead before it can get started. It was the jet sweep again, but a false start on Sam Houston. So after the loss of yardage on first down, second down is going to be even further back. It's closer to 2nd and 18, maybe 2nd and 19 after the penalty.
They get it into plus territory, and then a couple of plays and a couple of penalties move you in the wrong direction.
If you're Jalen Harper, what are you thinking? Hey, I did all that extra work for you to just give it away with a penalty.
And unfortunately, the Dallas Morning News is not covering tonight's game. We don't have live stats available.
Good pass to Santillon on the sideline. This one is caught across midfield, gets a good chunk of that penalty yardage back, and that's going to be enough for a first down. Good throw by Jones. He barely got it over the defender into the tight window that was available.
So that was the original line of scrimmage that he got it past, Tim.
Oh,
this is
you're
actually
right.
going to be 3rd down and about 6. Much more manageable, though.
Good call, Zach. The eyes deceived me. Ball's at the 41-yard line. Jones looks to the sideline. Chris James makes a change of play. They give to Jones. They give to Jalen Harper. He makes the first man miss. Got back to the line of scrimmage before being wrapped up. That's going to be a 4th down.
And when you run on 3rd and medium like that, it's because you know you're going for it on 4th. Just try to get a couple yards and see what kind of a play you need to draw up. And now they know with the ball at the 40, they need to pick up 4 to keep this drive alive.
Shotgun formation. Jones takes the snap. He throws to the sideline. This one caught and inbounds. Got the foot down just across the first down yardage. And that's going to be a nice pitch and catch for Jones and his receiver, Devin Dawkins, the senior, hooking up with his senior quarterback. They've looked for Dawkins a few times. It's the first time they've really had a big connection like that.
Dawkins had a big touchdown catch against Irving Nimitz in week 1, and since then he's been relatively quiet. It would be nice to see him get some touches in this second half.
They bring Will Bourne in motion and run behind him. Harper making a couple of men miss, gets across the 25. Now the left-footed spot actually brings it back on the other side of the 25. It's at the 26-yard line, so a gain of 7 on first down.
It's a solid pickup, though, playing in front of the chains after having that 2nd down and long. Now you've got 2nd down and short.
Jones still erecting traffic at the line of scrimmage. Harper on his right hip. 2 receivers on each side of the field. Jones, quick throw on the outside, has his man, caught at the 20. Makes one man miss before being gang tackled. It was number 4, Jaden Phillips, making the first down catch.
And it's one of those quick throws that we said we wanted to see Jones get in the first half. Get it to your men in space, see what they can do with it. Even if they can't do that much, they still get first down yardage and get the ball to the red zone.
Bowie's playing off coverage, and as they should, they're up
by a lot.
Right, 34 points. So with that comes the ability to break that route off and have a little bit of space. But now they're going to bring the press coverage after a couple of times in a row that Sam has shown that look. The handoff to Harper, not much cooking. And again, some extracurricular on the sideline as Phillips was blocked pretty hard that time. It looked like it was Duncantel making his point known to the Sam sideline after the tough block. Actually, no, it was Kyle Smith out there with
number
12.
Yeah,
physical.
He pancaked his wide receiver blocker and then did a little halo style teabagging like dance on top of him.
This one is nearly intercepted. Catch is actually made at the 12-yard line, wrestling down to the 11. It was Phillips again, and that was a risky throw from Jones as he fit it in between two volunteer defenders.
That's the third time he's thrown into double coverage plus, and he's 2 for 3 with an interception.
3rd down and 1. The handoff up the middle to Harper. He is met at the line of scrimmage. Not going to be enough. There is some more, as Zach liked to said, mustard on that lettuce. We'll have to see which way it's going. The Texans are pointing that this one's going to be against Bowie.
That would be enough for a first down and move it inside the 10.
Kyle Smith still down. I think he's got some cramping going on after running off the field. Zach, this is probably the best drive of the night for Sam Houston. Their one touchdown came on a collection of 2 chunk plays. This is the first time tonight they've really sustained offense for an entire drive.
This is a good sustained drive that can hopefully give you a little bit of film to work on and a little bit of momentum here in this second half. Take the victories where you can get them.
Play action pass, looking to throw. Corner of the end zone, incomplete. Was trying to go for Carlos Santillan for the second touchdown of the day, but just a little bit wide of target. I think he went too close to the sideline with that throw, Zach, where it's got to go to that back pylon.
Sam Houston is going to call a timeout to talk about this deep in the red zone. We'll take a brief timeout with them. This is high school football on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing.
Hi everybody, Paul Lovato from Jambo's Barbecue at the historic Arlington Steakhouse here on Division Street.
You know we have the best barbecue in Arlington, but did you know we cater special events? From wings for your tailgate party to smoked prime rib for your wedding reception and everything in between. We've got you covered. Call us today.
Peace, love, barbecue, and football.
Pecan Park Dental is proud to support local high school sports. If you're losing sleep because your husband sounds like a freight train at night, it's time to check for sleep apnea. Dr. Stephanie Bangs and her team offer solutions to help everyone in the family rest easy, especially before game day. Come to Pecan Park Dental, where even snorers can find peace, and so can you.
Welcome.
Really quickly, some scores from around the area as we get ready for this second down and goal. It's a tight one over at Choctaw Stadium. Arlington 22, South Grand Prairie 17. The Martin Warriors are all over the Grand Prairie Gophers 38-7. And Haltom and Lamar are in a tight one. Current score says 21-19 in favor of Haltom.
2nd down and 6. Swing pass out to Harper, far sideline. He gets to maybe the 6-yard line before being spun out of bounds.
That's about the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, not much cooking there. These are the kind of things we were wanting to see earlier in the game. But now it's almost a little bit too late for plays like that where you've shown your hand already, Zach. But, one of the things we talked about on break is putting together a good half for Sam Houston. You may not win this football game, but you can go into next week knowing, hey, we played a much better second half. The offense found some rhythm. Here's the 3rd down play, the throw over the middle. Intercepted.
Oh, no.
Coming down the sideline, this one could be a house call. At midfield, now at the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Marcus Green, touchdown, Volunteers. That one was more than a 100-yard house call. We were just talking about putting some positive momentum together, and I don't think you could put that one on Jones, as his receiver, Santillan, kind of got mixed up with some incidental contact, and next thing you know, the ball's floating right into the hands of Marcus Green.
Well, we were talking about hoping for a touchdown to be the result of this drive, and I don't think we were expecting it to go that way. It was just good placement at the right time for the defensive back, number 20, Marcus Green. He was able to make the catch at the goal line, and nobody was fast enough to catch up to him. 100 yards down the near sideline, and Bowie extends the lead.
It's now 47-7 with an extra point coming. I don't think we're going to see starting quarterback Larry Nichols the rest of the night. Not after that pick six. There's just no need.
It would not surprise me. I'm looking forward to seeing the two-way player Denzel Ponder. He's listed as a running back / linebacker on the Bowie roster. Wonder what he can do here in this second half to help melt this clock.
Extra point off the foot of Espindola is up, and it is good. 48-7, the lead here for Bowie. 5:56 left to go in the third quarter. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back.
Are you a small business owner looking for reliable insurance coverage? Or perhaps you're navigating the complexities of Medicare? Look no further. Chapman Cornelius Insurance Services is a family-owned, independent insurance agency with over 50 years of experience, specializing in tailored insurance solutions for small businesses and their owners. Whether you need property, liability, commercial, auto, or even life and health insurance, their knowledgeable agents can help you feel secure in selecting the insurance you need. Call April or Jason at 817-265-3346 or visit chapman-cornelius.com. The Revamped Football League features former college players and lifelong Madden players alike who seek friendly and organized online competition. Whether you play Dynasty, Ultimate Team, or simple Play Now, enjoy College Football 25 in new and exciting ways with the RFL. Find their Discord group or learn more at revampedfootballleague.com.
Welcome back into the AISD Game of the Week here on the ZAP Network after the pick six. It is 48-7 Bowie over the Sam Houston Texans. Zach, this one looked like maybe Sam Houston had found a little momentum on offense, and here next thing you know, another Bowie touchdown and another kickoff on the way.
It's just one of those nights, unfortunately. We mentioned during the pregame show that you would need certain things to happen in order for this to be a barn burner. None of those things have happened for the Texans tonight.
This kick will bounce at the 33-yard line, picked up and making a little bit of a move across the 30 down to the 45-yard line was Carlos Santillan, as he hopes to get something going for this Sam Houston offense. Again, trying to find some positive momentum. You move the ball a substantial amount down the field, just could not punch it in. So hopefully here quarterback Ken Jones and the rest of this Texans offense can continue on, the success that they found moving the ball last drive.
Yeah, and if I'm Jones, you've got to have a short memory. You cannot let that interception, that one play, affect your mentality or approach to this offensive set. You know what the score is, you know what your situation is, but you are the leader of this team, and you have to lead them on a drive now.
First down play, the handoff up the middle across midfield down to about the 47-yard line. They go right back to Harper.
And he may be slow to get up. He's been running it up the middle and getting hit hard by some of these Bowie defenders, and he may have been hit one time too many.
I think he just maybe had the wind knocked out of him. He's going to walk off under his own power, completely under his own power. As you said, Zach, he's been 98% of the offense here tonight for this Texans team. And with that comes just maybe being gassed a little bit, or as you said, one too many hits. Or
have you played the new NCAA 25 yet?
Not yet. I need to.
There's a new feature in the game that's different from the 2014 version, where if you have a player who doesn't have a high number in the injury category where you can sustain some of those hits, then they have this meter that can increase over time, saying what his potential injury risk is. And it can go from medium to high to very high, depending on how many times you utilize him back to back.
Second down play. Jones does a nice job to escape the rush, throws on the run, finds his man, but drops. Again, Santillan was the target, but could not come away with it. That was a pretty darn good play that time from Ken
Good
Jones.
play, good job evading the pressure. And Santillan, I think, was feeling the pressure of the secondary behind him. He got in front of the safeties and got past his man-to-man defender, but he was too busy worrying about getting hit and trying to get upfield that he didn't secure the catch.
You got to make that play for your quarterback who's been struggling. Third down, they hand off to Harper. Nothing cooking. He's wrapped up the backfield. Nowhere to run for the young man who has done so much here for this Texans team tonight.
He's been a workhorse, and credit where it's due. Like, he continues to fight even when there seems to be no point. You're trailing by this much. You have to wonder when a team might consider throwing in the towel. And so far, we have not seen that from Sam Houston. Like, yes, they have made mistakes, but they continue to go back out there and try to find ways to improve.
Yeah, if there's one guy's effort you cannot question tonight, it is Jalen Harper. Young man has been sensational. Low snap. Jones has to just fall on it after the rush got through, and that is just about the worst case scenario on a fourth down play.
It'll be a turnover on downs, and it'll be Bowie ball.
We'll take the break with the teams. It is a 48-7 lead for Bowie. You're listening to the AISD Game of the Week on ZAP, presented by John Wayne Roofing.
Taqueria Taco Express is your one-stop shop for all things authentic Mexican in Arlington and Grand Prairie. And this fall, you'll now have 4 stops to choose from. Visit the new location off 20 and Little Road or any of their 3 original locations and try their $10 Taco Tuesday. It includes 5 tacos and an agua fresca. They also feature new birria items plus tortas, gorditas, and more. Find out just how much more by visiting TaqueriaTacoExpress.com.
Welcome back into high school football on the ZAP network. Bowie takes over. It's a handoff going to the right side out of the shotgun. Simpson spins around. Campbell spins off of a couple tackles before finally going down after a gain of about 4 on the first down carry. It is still Jaden Bibbs out there, quarterback. So I think we are correct in our prediction that Larry Nichols' night is done here, Zach.
Yeah, and Trey Nichols orchestrated several touchdown drives for Bowie in the first half, and there is a lot of district left to play, and you just don't want to risk getting QB1 and RB1 injured in a game that is well in hand.
Oh, absolutely. And at the same time, why not let one of your younger guys, underclassmen, get a little seasoning as this handoff goes up the middle again to Campbell. Maybe forward progress picked up another 2 yards. They give him 1, actually. A 3rd down and 6 coming for the Vols.
Tim, in high school, I played basketball, and I was kind of the 7th or 8th man on the roster, and I usually didn't see a whole lot of playing time until scores were similar to this one. But I would always do my best to go out and make the most of my opportunities, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing from these Bowie 2s right now. This is your chance, young man. Make the most of it.
3rd down, pass is caught at the 40. Look at this effort. Still fighting, still fighting. Now the ball's on the ground. This one is recovered by the Texans. Maybe fought a little bit too hard for the extra yardage, and instead of just going down, we have a fumble. It was number 18, Alex Calhoun, who the effort was fantastic. Churning his legs, reaching for the first down. But in that reach, the Texans were able to force their first turnover of the night.
Well, about 4 or 5 red jerseys came over to that one young man in the white and orange with black pants. And, that's just too many for anybody. And he unfortunately tried a little too hard there. That is not one that you're going to want to see in the film session tomorrow morning.
I agree with you, but I think also at the same time, that's one that the coach may say, I love the effort, young man, but just be smarter about it. Be smart about that.
Sit down, or
you're a senior.
Work on corralling the ball a little better.
Oh, no, disaster, but a penalty. That could have been really bad, as the jet sweep was actually interfering with the snap. It hit Santillan in the chest, but before that, they blew the play dead. That could have been really bad, Zach.
Well, I think a member of the offensive line jumped before the snap. He just didn't time it quite right. And honestly, I think I would take -5 yards compared to a potential turnover.
So now a first down and 15. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line. Jones trying to do a quick little screen pass out to the far sideline. Has his man. Not a lot of room to work with. Gets up to about the 34-yard line. It was Brian Castile making the play. A lot of two-way players on this Texans team. Clock now inside of 3 minutes and running in the third quarter. 4 wide receivers on the field to give up the middle to Harper. He's wrapped up pretty immediately. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Not much else cooking.
Well, and Bowie's 4-3 scheme is basically committing all 3 linebackers to the spy right now. They're watching where those gaps are being created and filling them almost instantly. And there's no inkling of pass plays going behind the linebackers, no slants, no drags, nothing to make the linebackers stay honest, and they're just committing to the run almost every time.
I mean, the cornerback and defensive back coverage has been so good. I don't see why you would even need to worry about committing linebackers into the pass game. Here's a wheel route out of the backfield, incomplete, severely underthrown that time by Jones. He may have even had a man open. It was Brian Castile again, but unable to connect. Some sort of commotion going on in the Bowie sides of the stands.
Yeah, and that's where our crowd mic is set up, almost about 10 feet in front of where the commotion is taking place.
That sounded like a spilled Coke to me, Zach.
I think it's a spilled Coke as a result of a bug landing on somebody.
Oh, man, that's a tough combo.
That is not a fun one to have.
4th down and 11.
And this is number 0, Gekong. So he did not get ejected from the game in the first half like we suspected.
This spiraling punt takes a Texans bounce all the way
Great punt
to the 21-yard line as they try and fan it forward just every bit that it can.
Flapping those arms. That was funny.
All righty. 48-7 here on high school football on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
John Wade Roofing has been serving the Arlington area since 1982, but the Wade legacy runs much deeper in the city of Arlington. A pioneer family that has had roots going back decades, John Wade and Company saw relatives attend the Cooper Street Arlington High campus and has had members play in Colt athletics for decades, and they're looking forward to serving this community for decades to come. Find out more at johnwaderoofing.com.
Turnover. Welcome back into Wilemon Field. First down play was a play-action pass for the backup quarterback, Bibbs. He didn't see the defensive end on his blind side, ends up taking a big loss, nearly turning the ball over. A 2nd down and 15 coming. Clock running inside of a minute and a half now in the third quarter of action. Bibbs has 3 receivers on the right side and the running back Ponder in the backfield with him. Looks to throw, has his man over the middle, caught at the 24-yard line, picks up the sack yardage, and then another 2, so gain of 7. It'll be 3rd and 7.
And as long as this play stays in bounds, it could very well end up being the final play of the quarter, Tim.
Any completion, as you said, staying in bounds or anything of that nation. Here's the 3rd down play, looking to throw. Trying to buy a little extra time, evading pressure, and just going to step out of bounds across the 22-yard line. That's going to kill the clock, and it will not be enough for a first down. So a quick 3 and out for the Volunteer offense. Been a long time. Might be the only time we've seen that tonight. I think even the punt they had earlier, they picked up a first down on their first carry and then went 3 consecutive plays without getting a second first down.
Well, and that's something that can be a feather in the cap for the Sam Houston defense. They've been beleaguered all game, and even if it is the number 2 quarterback, you still are able to confound the offense enough to force them to give the ball back to your team. That is something that they can build on for next week.
And just because Bibbs is the number 2 guy here does not mean he's not a good player. There's probably some schools in this district that would love to have him as their starter. This is a very good punt. Lands at the 40. Checks back up just enough to be picked up by Zion Shelley. 21 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. We're going to stay here, as this should theoretically be the last snap of the quarter, pending an incompletion or stepping out of bounds.
21 ticks to go until the final 12 minutes. Here at Wilemon Field, across town at Choctaw Stadium, the Arlington Colts are pulling away on homecoming night. They were up 22-17 coming out of halftime. They now lead at 36-17 against the Warriors. So halftime adjustments for the Arlington High Colts there. That game is live on Facebook at Zach the Voice.
There's a screen pass caught at the 40, making his way across the 50, 45-40 at the 30, 25-20, 15-10, and wrestled down at the 7-yard line was Jalen Harper. Another explosive play for the junior running back.
And they get him in space. They go with that screen pass, and he makes an extra man miss in the secondary. He had one man to beat, could not quite do it, but it is 1st and goal for the beleaguered Texans.
And I believe he was brought down inbounds, so that will be the final play of the third quarter. We head to the fourth quarter, and I'd like to remind all of our listeners that the fourth quarter is presented by Pecan Park Dental. Pecan Park offers various dental services tailored to meet your individual needs with the latest technology and friendliest staff in town. Let Pecan Park help you achieve and maintain healthy teeth for a lifetime. Call 817-497-8826 to schedule your way to a brighter smile.
Our entire family uses Pecan Park. Dr. Stephanie Bangs does a fantastic job of being hospitable and accommodating. She has a great staff that makes the visits as painless as possible. I never was a very big fan of going to the dentist, and I don't dread the experience quite the way I did as a child, thanks to Pecan Park. And we appreciate them joining Zap this season for all the Bowie, Sam Houston, and Arlington games that we're providing. I believe it's a total of 19 regular season games, not including the postseason. And people like Jambos, the RFL, Pecan Park, local legends, Romy Pools, Taqueria Taco Express, Chapman Cornelius, and of course, John Wade Roofing, all along for those 19-plus games. Any postseason appearances by any of these three teams will also be covered by Zap, so there's still a lot of football left in this season, and we're excited to have you all along for the ride.
Start of the fourth quarter, 1st down and 10. The quarterback keeper is just a bit short. Looked like he had the pylon, but just at the last second, Bowie able to force the quarterback Jones out of bounds inside the 1-yard line. That's at like the half yard, Zach.
That was very Vince Young-esque going back to the 2005 National Championship game. Took the corner, tried to go for that corner pylon, but unfortunately, unlike Vince, he wasn't able to bring it across.
And off up the middle to Harper, and he is able to punch this one home. A touchdown for the Texans. Well deserved for that young man. The way he's run the ball tonight, he deserved a touchdown.
He has indeed. Harper's been a workhorse for this team. Able to punch it in for 6, as you said. May not matter too terribly much on the final scoreboard, but it's a good, solid drive, and it's something that number 20 can hang his hat on.
Not just number 20, number 7, too. It was good for him to put a good drive together. As the extra point up, and it is good. 48-14, 11:47 left to go in the fourth quarter. You're listening to high school football on Zap, presented by John Wade Roofing. We'll be right back after this.
Taquería Taco Express es la taquería oficial de Zach Arnold Productions. Extraordinaria y auténtica comida mexicana. Aquí encontrarás el mejor menú para el paladar más exigente. Puedes visitarlos en una de sus 3 sucursales ubicadas en Arlington y en Green Prairie. No te pierdas de su grandioso especial todos los martes, Taco Tuesday, de 5 tacos y un agua fresca por solo $10. Para encontrarnos o hacer un pedido, visítalos a su página web taqueriatacoexpress.com.
Thanks to Pecan Park Dental for supporting tonight's game. For busy families looking to improve their smiles, Dr. Stephanie Bangs offers clear aligners, a convenient, discreet way to straighten teeth without brackets and wires. Perfect for students, parents, and anyone who wants a beautiful smile with minimal fuss. Visit Pecan Park Dental in Arlington and make the clear choice for your family's dental health.
Welcome back out to Wilemon Field here on the Zap Network. 48-14 our score. 11:47 left to go in the fourth quarter. It has been a very heavily Bowie game, and a couple of touchdowns mixed in, one by Harper for the Texans and one by the receiver Santillan, as this kickoff goes out of bounds and will set the Volunteers up with some more fantastic field position.
One thing I've noticed from Arlington head coach Scott Peach is he really likes his kickoff return unit. And the couple of times that I have called their games and seen the ball go out of bounds, he has elected to push the opposing team back 5 yards and make them kick it again. But it looks like Bowie will be content to take it at the 30-yard line this time.
I'd be interested if this wasn't a 48-14, if it was a game where you needed that strategy a little bit more. Would you make them re-kick it? Being where it is, kickoffs are one of the most common plays for injury. I wouldn't run another kickoff if you paid me in this scenario. First down and 10.
Would you run it with the new style kickoff the NFL is running?
I'm more likely to do that for sure. And back into the game actually is Nichols. He hands the ball off up the middle. Big time run. Still huffing and puffing and tumbling and rumbling all the way down to the 41-yard line is Denzel Ponder. Zach, are you shocked to see Nichols back in here?
I'm a little shocked to see Nichols, but I think it's because he understands the run game and maybe can orchestrate that a little bit better than Bibbs can. I would be very surprised to see him actually throwing the ball. I think this is going to be just because he knows how to exchange the inside runs a little better.
Speak of the devil, this one was going to be thrown, but it is blown dead first. A false start by the Volunteers.
Well, call me surprised and call it the announcer's jinx if you want to. I say, I don't think he's going to throw. And then what does he do?
This happens. And
he can't possibly throw in this scenario. And then he throws it.
I am wondering, why are you throwing the ball up 34 points in the fourth quarter?
A lot of spread offenses use those quick out type throws almost like their own version of a run sometimes.
Play action. Nichols takes off. No. Throws. This one is caught across the 30 down to the 28. Nichols was past the line of scrimmage.
Oh. His improvisation got the better of him, and he went a little too far forward.
That's a tough break because it did look like he was going to take off and run, and at the very last second he threw it. I thought maybe he kept enough of himself behind the line, but now we're looking at first down and 25. I think that was actually
maybe a hold,
an eligible receiver downfield, and not on Nichols, because that would have just been a loss of down. So now first and 25. Nichols rolls to his right, trying to find some open players, and he does have one man on the sideline. Making the catch is Kiedrick Osunde Brown. He gets back to maybe the 40, maybe 38-yard line, but another flag on the play.
My goodness. I'm having a harder time keeping up with how many times I'm clicking flag on the play on ZapView.
And we're going to back it up more. This one is going against the Volunteers again, as they have voluntarily marched back 30 yards. We're looking at like a 1st and 40 here, Zach.
The first down marker is sitting at the 31-yard line. The ball is all the way back at Bowie's 39. 11-21, 1st and 30.
Shotgun snap. Nichols pumps, fires, has a man deep. It's Talley. He dropped it. Almost intercepted. Talley could have walked into the end zone if he hangs on to that one.
He'll be doing some push-ups tonight before he goes home. He was behind both of his defenders. Nichols put it in his bread basket.
I don't think Nichols could have thrown it any better.
No, that was a perfect throw. That was right to him in stride. He just didn't complete the catch. Pure and simple.
Tally comes off after that drop.
No running clock. The clock does stop at 10:49 to go in the game.
Tally's mom sitting right in front of her. She's not happy about the drop.
He may be sleeping somewhere other than his bed tonight.
Handoff. No quarterback keeper. And the pitch out to Burnow. And what a move he makes across the 50. Down to the 45. Picking up about 20 of the 30.
Going deep into the playbook there with an option RPO instead of an option to throw.
To the wide receiver.
Who you put in motion. He was in the slot on the right side, ran behind the quarterback, held up, and then became the pitch man on the option to the left. That was a well-designed, well-executed play.
Third down play action, rolling to his right is Nichols, throwing deep, wide open. Sunday Brown, touchdown ball. That might have been the closest defender to him all the way up here in that booth, Zach.
I don't know what that was. I think Sam Houston was biting on the play action and all of the secondary.
Flag on the play.
Are you serious?
This is exactly what we talked about in the pregame show with Bowie. They avoided a lot of these penalties building up a 48-14 lead. But here, as maybe you're not quite as mentally sharp because you're up so late, things are getting sloppy.
It's just very odd to see when it's your ones that are out there. You've got Osunde Brown out there. You've got Shelley. You've got Nichols. This is your ones unit that's still out here with the score 48-14, and they're the ones that are committing the infractions.
Third down and 17 after the penalty. Buying time, throwing on the sideline, caught at the 33-yard line, went back to Burnow. That will make it fourth down and four, maybe three after the good spot. 4th and 3. Offense is going to stay on the field as the ball is inside the 35-yard line. One receiver on the far side of the field. It is Tally. Quarterback keeper faked the handoff, fighting forward, not going to get it. Larry Nichols wrapped up, actually lost some yardage on the play, and that will be a turnover on downs. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to High School Football on ZAP, presented by John Wade Roofing.
Looking for the most unique gift for your student or athlete? Local Legends Figures has you covered. The custom 6-inch figures are designed with you and your legend in mind. They even immortalize yours truly with a custom, never-before-used model to create a Zach the Voice figure for my 30th birthday. Huge thanks to our friends at Local Legends Figures. See pricing and place orders at locallegendsfigures.com.
Las albercas en Texas necesitan servicios durante todo el año. Romy Pools brinda servicios de calidad, incluyendo limpieza, mantenimiento y reparaciones. Llama al número 469-951-0107 para una consulta gratuita y pregunta por Roberto. Romy Pools, haremos que te enamores de tu alberca de nuevo.
Back at Wilemon Field after the turnover on downs, the first down play is a screen to the near sideline. Picks up about 5 yards for Montavious Jones, but there is some laundry on the field and appears to once again go against the Volunteers. And Zach, this is not going to change the outcome of the game. But these are the things that I guarantee you head coach Joseph Sam is going to lose his mind over. This type of lack of discipline cost you your opening game of the season.
Yes.
You were sharp coming into this game. You played a fantastic first half. You didn't shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
And now here you are late in the game making stupid penalties. Shotgun formation for Jones. He's somehow not been sacked yet. He's got the entire defensive line chasing him. He throws over the middle, has a man incomplete. Some contact on the play, but it looked like maybe simultaneous to the ball arriving. It's Marcus Green making the play defensively for the Volunteers. He's already got a pick 6 today. Down on the field looks like the quarterback, Ken Jones. He ran all over the place before getting rid of the football. We're going to take a break while they attend to him. We'll be right back after this.
Zach Arnold Productions is proud to service the greater Arlington and DFW area. With experience in broadcasting, podcasting, web series, public address, marketing, and public relations, Zach can help you tackle any modern communications task. Whether you need an announcer for your sporting event or just need help proofing a press release, be sure to call 817-319-2402 to see how you can find energetic media solutions for your task with Zach Arnold Productions.
Well, after the trainers moved away is not Ken Jones. He's still in the game at quarterback. He hands off up the middle for Harper. He's got room. He makes one man miss, and now he's going for the pylon. All of a sudden, 16,000 flags fly onto the field. This one's going to be coming back. I think every referee threw a flag, and then somebody else started throwing even more. It's got to be a hold.
When a referee runs out of flags, they usually have two just in case they need to throw a second one. But if they run out of flags, then they throw their hat in addition. And I think there was a referee in the back of the secondary there that had to go and pick up his headgear as well. Flags galore on this holding penalty near the 30-yard line.
I didn't see where the hold took place, but based on the way that all those flags came in, that had to have been the most obvious hold these refs saw tonight, because every one of them threw their flag.
So the penalty took place about 18 yards away from the line of scrimmage, but the 10-yard penalty moves it behind the line to gain to make it 2nd down and 2.
Had a nice run, but unfortunately the penalty wipes out all but 8 yards of it. They go to Hallman this time as he is wrapped up after a yard, making it 3rd down and 1.
Coming up on 8 minutes to go in this ball game, fans, a reminder to stick around for the post-game show presented by our friends at John Wade Roofing. Arlington's favorite roofer since 1982 will have final thoughts on this game and preview the next games for both of these teams.
Shotgun snap. The give is to Harper. He tries to avoid the tackle and actually loses about 3 yards in the process. And that's going to bring up a 4th down and 3. More decisions to be made for the head coach, Chris James. Looks like they're going to go for this one. Clock is inside of 8 minutes. You're trailing 34 points, 48-14. Jones is still in the game at quarterback. He's taken some hard hits today. They go for a little wheel route out to the flat, and Harper goes down immediately. Nowhere to run as the Volunteer defense had that one snuffed out right away. Turnover on downs for the Texans. We're going to take the timeout with the officials. This is high school football on the Zap Network, brought to you by John Wade Roofing.
Are you a small business owner looking for reliable insurance coverage? Or perhaps you're navigating the complexities of Medicare? Look no further. Chapman Cornelius Insurance Services is a family-owned independent insurance agency with over 50 years of experience specializing in tailored insurance solutions for small businesses and their owners. Whether you need property, liability, commercial, auto, or even life and health insurance, their knowledgeable agents can help you feel secure in selecting the insurance you need. Call April or Jason at 817-265-3346 or visit chapman-cornelius.com.
After the turnover on downs, Jaden Bibbs checks back into the game at quarterback, along with Joseph Campbell at running back. The backups back in the game, a loss of 1, maybe even 2 on the first down carry. And Zach, on the break, we were checking the score of that Arlington homecoming game, and man, the Colts have been running loose here in the second half.
And that was so unexpected because both of those teams are 3-1, 1-0 in district, and Arlington is just manhandling South Grand Prairie 50-17. What an amazing second half for the Colts.
Play action pass for Gibbs. He's got a man over the middle. It's Birdow. That's good for first down yardage at the 42-yard line.
It was 22-17, and it's gone all the way up to 50-17. Arlington Colts looking like they could compete for the district title with offense that explosive.
Then I guess Otogity's having a pretty good night over there.
I heard that Isaiah Robertson has been doing stuff out of the Maverick formation as well.
Finally get Mr. Otogity's name right when I'm not on the Arlington call here tonight.
There you go.
Handoff up the middle to Campbell. He gets across the 40 down to the 37-yard line. If you had to decide, if you're a college recruiter, you could have Robertson or you could have Talley. You've seen them both play. Both, and I'm going to say this before you even make your choice, both exceptional talents.
They
right?
are.
I think you can't go wrong, but I don't know, man. Robertson's so good in that wild Colt formation, but Talley, once you get the ball in his hands in space, could make you miss at a phone booth.
Talley is more of a traditional wide receiver. Robertson will do a lot of jet sweeps. He'll do a lot of the direct snaps. He does kick returns as well, but he made some pretty spectacular catches in double coverage in the game against Weatherford a couple of weeks ago as they tend to an injured Sam Houston player at the 40-yard line. This is number 30 for them.
It's Jaden Skurlock,
We've called his name a few times tonight, and
he's provided some big-time pressure on the quarterback tonight.
Some pressure, some hits, some tackles in that front seven formation. Kudos to him for playing all four quarters and playing it with heart and hustle.
6:15 and counting left to go in the fourth quarter. Bibbs rolls to his right, throws to the right, has a man. Caught at the 30, down to the 25, 20, and finally gang tackled at the 15. That was Osunde Brown with a nice catch and run. Brown's had a very nice game, kind of almost quietly. He might even have close to 100 yards tonight if we had the stats up and running.
Yeah, if we had somebody from Dallas Morning News providing stats tonight, I think there would be a couple of 100-yard receivers for the Vols tonight.
Play action. They go to Birdow, who also was very quietly put together a nice night himself. First down catch for about 5 yards. Birdow had, was part of that option play for a nice run. He's got a touchdown catch tonight. He's had some first down catches. He's probably got 65, 70 yards in a tutty. Talley's got over 100 in a tutty. Osunde Brown has over 100 yards in a tutty.
Good productivity from the Bowie offense tonight.
Play action throw is to Birdow. He's at the 1, reaches for the end zone. He's going to come up about a half yard short. It'll be first down and goal to go at the 1 yard line. Actually, they mark it back to the 2. When we get down to the end zones, the angle is where it's hardest to get that accurate spot up.
Well, and he was reaching as well, but I think he reached after his knee went down, so they're marking him down where his knee hit.
Bibbs looking to throw, has a man in the corner of the end zone. It's knocked away, going for Talley. Kind of surprised he's still in the game.
Good deflection there by Isaiah Terrell, number 13, defensive back. He saw the play, wasn't able to make a dive at the interception, but he did prevent the touchdown there.
This is a good opportunity for Bibbs to learn how to throw a fade in the end zone. You got a guy like Talley, you don't throw a low line drive to him. You throw it high and you let him go up and make a play for you, or no one's making a play for you. Bibbs at the line of scrimmage, changing things up. One-on-one coverage on the outside of Talley. Got to think that's where they go. It is where they go. Corner of the end zone. Ball is up in the air. It is incomplete. Flag comes out for pass interference. He had one of his hands completely pinned down, tried to make the one-handed catch, but unable to do so. That was a good ball that time from Bibbs. I think Talley jumped a little bit too soon. If he would have taken maybe another step, he had his man beat, but does draw the pass interference penalty. It'll be another first down and goal.
Yeah, Raymond Cruz, number 19, in coverage there for the Texans. And when you have to choose between giving up the touchdown or getting pass interference, you just have to take the penalty and try to live another down.
See if they go back to it again. Same formation. No, instead the handoff up the middle, reaching for the end zone. Ball is out, but they're going to say that the running back, Joseph Campbell, was down before the ball came out. Clock now inside of 4.5 minutes. Second down and goal from the 1.
Correction on that coverage. I'm sorry, that was Terrell on the outside defensively.
After the near fumble, Joseph Campbell subs out and Denzel Ponder subs in. I am pondering if that's the last we've seen of Campbell after nearly turning it over. They give to Ponder, and he plunders his way into the end zone for another volunteer touchdown. 54-14 here in the fourth quarter of action. Curious how many different Vols have scored a touchdown tonight, Zach. You've had Osunde Brown, 1. Birdow is 2. Bowers is 3. Nichols
Threw one,
has thrown 1.
at least.
Talley has caught 1. Ponder has run 1 in. That's at least 5 different members of this offense scoring a touchdown tonight. And what's crazy to think about, starters haven't played the whole game. They shot themselves in the foot with penalties for almost the entire second half, and they've still built up a 41-point lead.
Imagine if they hadn't been committing those penalties. What would it be?
I think if, like, looking at this game, if they don't bring Bibbs in the second quarter and slow it down a little bit, and they just played Nichols full gas the whole way, you could have seen 100 points tonight. The way that they were moving the ball with ease, I don't see how this Texans defense could have stopped them if they wanted to play their full up-tempo offense, running Bowers all night long. This is going to be a tough team in the come playoff time, Zach.
It will be. And they gave Jesuit everything that they had in the playoffs last year and came up just short. And Coach Sam at Bowie believes that his team can make a deep run. In the preseason interview I had with him, he said that he wanted to play 16 weeks, which means going all the way into like the state semifinals and the finals. If they commit fewer penalties, I think they absolutely have the potential to do that.
They've got the talent. The
Yes.
talent is on the roster. This is a state championship worthy roster. I'm not going to say this roster is going to win, but I'm saying you've got the guys and the weapons on this roster, and not only offensively, defensively. This defensive front is formidable. They have put pressure on the quarterback all game long. They did it against Flower Mound. That Flower Mound quarterback got lit up. But at the end of the day, he just made enough plays to get it done. There's an end-over-end kick going to be fielded at the 25-yard line. This one, Hallman, makes one guy miss across the 35 and wrestle down at the 42-yard line. And that will be where the Texans take over their next possession. We're going to take a quick break while the teams change field. You are listening to High School.
Shout out to the Bowie Volunteers for putting that hat on Sam Houston. Sing!
Hey, this is John Wade Jr., Colt Football 97, class of 98. And the next time you have a roofing issue, be sure and call Arlington's favorite roofer, John Wade Roofing. Look us up on the internet at johnwaderoofing.com.
Coming back to live action as Sam Houston takes over at the 41-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Harper going to midfield, shaking away from it. Going across the 40, inside the 30, and Jalen Harper gets a good run there.
Good move for Harper to continue to matriculate the ball up the field. And we might have to kill the crowd mic for a little bit. Some of the Bowie fans refuse to leave it alone.
Well, I understand that you are in a rivalry game, a rivalry situation, and you're proud of the way that your team played, but we're trying to bring atmosphere to the fans that are tuning in at home, people from out of town, people that can't make it. And when you pull a stunt like that, it just ruins the experience for everybody, unfortunately. We'll continue to do play-by-play for these final 4 minutes. Actually, it's a running clock. We're at 2.5 as we get ready to close out this ball game.
That pass was dropped. Had a man open over the middle, was looking for Tristan Anderson that time, unable to make the play. There's the play action pass going to the outside to Phillips, trying to make something happen on a screenplay, but just nowhere to run. Bowie has been all over these outside play action screens.
I think they're just taking too long to develop, Tim. They're trying to set something up, trying to get downfield blocking, and Bowie is just shedding those blocks or anticipating the play, and it's resulting in very minimal yardage.
3rd down and 10. Ball is at the 23-yard line. Jones takes the shotgun snap. It's high. Has a man in the end zone, but this one is underthrown. Coming back to it. Did he make the catch? Still debating. Incomplete, says the side judge. Running free completely was Anderson, but Jones had to reset his feet and just could not get the ball there.
And again, one of those plays where Ken Jones made the right read, threw the right ball, but did not put it on the money. And it'll bring up a 4th down now. After a really great run by Harper to put it in plus territory, it looks like the drive has the potential to stall again.
4th down and 6. They hand off up the middle to Harper. Nowhere to go. And that's going to end this drive for the Texans. We'll take a quick break as the teams change field. 55-14 our score from Wilemon. You're listening to high school football on the Zap Network.
PDA Advocacy Group supports CCMR, College, Career, Military Readiness, a set of educational standards designed to help students be better prepared for post-high school life. If college-bound, take entrance tests, dual credit courses, earn a 2-year degree prior to graduation. If you're going to a career, take classes that will result in industry certification, mechanic, computers, welding, etc. The options are vast. Military? Enlist in the armed forces as a career. CCMR, driving towards success in life.
After the turnover on downs, this should be the last play of the game. The clock's been running the whole time. 33 seconds left to go as Nichols is in there at quarterback, presumably just to take the snap and kneel on it, and that's exactly what he did. So final score from Wilemon Field, Bowie 55, Sam Houston 14. We're going to stay here, actually, for the post-game show, the 5th quarter, presented by John Wade Roofing. I want to remind everybody, John Sr. played for Arlington High School. He was the MVP of the team in 1976. He also played for TCU and UTA, earning all conference and conference championship honors. He did a stint for the fantastic Houston Oilers before he started roofing in 1982, and he never looked back. His legacy on the gridiron is now matched by the legacy of the fantastic company he's built in the community for over 40 years. The next time you have roofing needs, or gutters, or painting, or solar, or more, call the family that does more at 817-265-5520. All right, Zach. The script says thoughts on the game here. I think you and I have some pretty similar thoughts here tonight. Bowie looked fantastic.
Bowie did look fantastic. Their offense looked unstoppable in many circumstances, but there are still penalties that need cleaning up. And if they can do that, then they could have the potential to be a juggernaut in this district. It looks wide open in most cases after dispatching Grand Prairie and dispatching Sam Houston the way they've done to go 2-0 in the district. Lamar does not look very good this year. Haltom does not look very good this year. So to have a certain number of teams that you feel like you can take care of or already have taken care of, it could come down to teams like Arlington and Martin and these Bowie Volunteers who could be fighting for the top 2 or 3 positions in the district this year.
When you think about the type of football teams that win state championships, you've typically got to generate a pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be able to run the football. You've got to have a quarterback who, when you need him to make a play, has the ability to go and do that for you. And you've got to have some sort of playmaker on the outside. I feel like I pretty effectively described this Bowie Volunteer football team, right? You got Talley on the outside to go make plays. Nichols has no problem if you put the game in his hands and let him try and win it for you. You've got a trio of running backs who could seemingly pick up yardage at will here tonight between Bowers and Ponder and Campbell. And you've got a front 4 defensively that not only did a great job rushing the passer, minus a few breakaway runs from Harper, they shut the run game down for the most part.
They did.
There was no consistent ground game. You had a guy who refused to give in, who found a seam 5 times for 100 total yards.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, it seemed like they were averaging half a yard a carry.
Right. Yeah, this was a complete performance for Bowie. And there's no bones about it. It was a complete win, 55-14. They got a pick 6, so the defense scored. Their special teams had one blocked extra point, but aside from that, you put up 8 touchdowns, 7 of them offensively. It's a complete team win, which is something that they can hang their hats on and look forward to celebrating as they go into their bye week. This is a very weird schedule phenomenon, Tim, where all 3 teams that Zap is covering has the exact same bye week.
It's kind of crazy, and if I'm being completely honest with you, extremely convenient for me.
Yes.
As a University of Houston alumni, they come to town next week, taking on the TCU Horned Frogs. I have a ticket Friday night. Just worked out pretty well that I get to attend
awesome.
that one.
My wife and I are going out of town, so everybody has their way of making the most of the bye week. But the Texans have a bye week, Bowie has a bye week, Arlington is up big in their ball game across town. They'll be going into a bye week most likely with a 4-1 record, 2-0 in district. Martin is on their way to 2-0 in the district. They just defeated Grand Prairie. It went final 55-20, and Haltom took care of Lamar 38-33. So that was a tightly contested ball game that went the Buffalo's way.
Watching that Haltom team last week, I didn't think they had 38 points in that offense. There are 2 players offensively on that Haltom team that they rely on heavily, and hey, it looks like they had a good day.
And we had a pretty good day here as well, celebrating both teams that we cover, and we're looking forward to covering them for the rest of the season. But this edition of the Battle of New York goes the way of the Volunteers. Special thanks again to our friends at John Wade Roofing for being our title partners this year. Tim, thanks for making the drive down to help cover this game. Always a pleasure hanging out with you covering high school football.
Yeah, man, it's been an absolute blast. I appreciate you inviting me onto the Zap Network this year to be a part of what you guys are doing. It's been we've seen some great games. We've seen some great players, and you were just very fortunate to be in an air-conditioned booth here today after being in the elements last week.
Indeed. Final score in this one, Bowie 55, Sam Houston 14. Their next games are on October 11th. Sam Houston plays Arlington High, and that game will be live right here on YouTube. Bowie will be, quote-unquote, at Martin. We will not be providing coverage for that game, but when Bowie comes back to town, we'll be covering all of their home games this season. Be sure to follow at ZachTheVoice on different social media so that you have alerts for when those games are happening and when they go live. But that is going to do it for us here at Wilemon Field. Thanks so much for tuning in. And for all of us at Zach Arnold Productions, we thank you for supporting local football and local businesses by tuning into tonight's broadcast. Good night from Arlington, Texas.